What's up, people? What's up, people? What's up, people? It is your boy MM2K back again with another episode of SSC Podcast with the co-host. Nah, I almost did it. I can't do it. I can't do it today. My brother's going to be in his bag with the other host today, Project Storm. Project Storm, how you doing today, my good friend? I can't.
Doing pretty good. Why don't you just do it, man? I mean, instead of snickering and all that, why don't you just do what you plan to do, man? Just let the people know that I'm the co-hostess with the mostest and all that. Focus. You know what I mean? I just don't understand why we can't just jump in the damn show, man, and just get people what they want, man.
Without all my childish behavior.
Entertaining your own self, you know?
my childish, irrelevant, and immature ways. I know. Yeah. What is up, everybody? What is going on? We got Cloud Gaming Dad in the house. We got Predator in the house, and we also got that guy Project Storm in the house. Man, Storm, we've had some crazy good conversations over the last 48 hours about some things, man. I can't wait to get into today's show. But before we do all that, we got to, you know what we got to do. We got to pay the bills, okay?
Let's do it.
First and foremost, this is a PNTS Network show. If you don't know what PNTS Network is, because I failed to do this, Storm, people are like, what the hell's PNTS Network? Pick your nose and touch the soup. No, PNTS Network is a network for gamers, content creators, streamers, things of that nature. We're going to be making some big moves pretty soon, so definitely stay tuned to us. All right. This is a PNTS Network show. If you want more on PNTS Network, go to pntsnetwork.com. But our lineup of shows is today, SSC Podcast. We normally air this at 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, but I've been having the craziest of schedules. So today we're airing it at 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We air this show every Wednesday here on the Stadia Dosage platform. Tomorrow, we are bringing it back as long as everybody's like, you know what? We don't believe you. As long as they don't do that, they don't disappear. We're going to have a panel. We're going to have a great panel lined up for you. We are bringing back the Commission Podcast. That show airs every Thursday, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on the MM2K Videos channel on YouTube. So check that out. Subscribe there. That's where we, the PNTS Brass, we talk all things gaming. We have a great time doing so. So definitely set your schedule for 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time tomorrow, the Commission Podcast, where we talk all things gaming with the PNTS Network group and our special guests. All right, Saturday, SML Podcast, the show that is hosted by Project Storm and myself. That is the interactive cloud gaming / gaming show that we do, but it's more about you all because we take live calls, we take live viewer mail, we answer your questions. Last SML was hype as hell, but it's going to be even better because this time it's going to be on Project Storm's channel. That show alternates. It is either here on Stadia Dosage or it's aired on my brother Project Storm's channel. Make sure that you're a sub to both channels so you don't miss an episode of that. Sunday, particularly this Sunday, is going to be a trifecta of good PNTS Network stuff. First and foremost, you got my brother Project Storm and the brother Stadia Rev. They are doing a show that they do every Sunday, 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, that is called The Revolutionary Storm. My brothers chop it up. They ain't got no filter. This ain't for the faint of heart. They get to the straight, raw juice of every single gaming topic that is out there and some. Definitely check my brothers out again, either on Project Storm's channel at 11 a.m. Eastern or Stadia Rev's channel. Whose channel is it on this week, Rev? Damn.
Hey, it's going to be on Revs because it was on mine and it was lit, man. I have to say it was a dope show. It was one of our biggest shows that we've had this far, y'all. And it was only episode 6, so we got a lot more coming for y'all. It'll be on Rev's channel. Then the next weekend, we will be taking a break because Rev's son is graduating high school, man. So, he got to be there for that. So we'll be pushing it back the following week. So I just wanted to put that out there.
Awesome stuff. Then my brother Project Storm is taking off his revolutionary storm coat, putting on the coat with the big Y on it. Why? Possibly. We don't know. It's on hiatus now, but possibly. For Yang Meets Yang of Gaming Podcast. That is the podcast that is hosted by Project Storm, Snow Bunny Gaming, and the Brother Rome Rush. That show normally airs at 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, but they're on hiatus now. I don't know if they're coming back. Y'all coming back this week, Storm, or?
Well, we'll see. I hope so, because I miss
Okay.
Bunny. I miss, chopping it up
Yeah.
with her and, getting her in her bag and everything. She always just, Bunny is never wrong, man. That's one thing you got to
Yeah.
understand about Snow Bunny.
Absolutely.
She's never wrong, and you could try to disprove her and discredit her, but it doesn't work.
It comes back to bite you big time.
Yep.
So be on the lookout for that. We'll see if it's going to be airing again this Sunday. And last but not least, the Numbers for Stadia show, the show that is hosted by Jack Deslip, and I'm there as well, cutting up, being immature, hosted by Jack Deslip and myself. That airs at 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time here on this channel. That's where we use the mighty extrapolation power and calculations of the whiz, Jack Deslip. Crunch numbers for Stadia for the prior month, and we present that to you. Some very interesting stuff. You definitely don't want to miss it, because they ain't talking about this stuff nowhere else. That, again, airs here the first Sunday of every month, 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Besides calling you Rev, I think I got through that flawlessly, Storm. So, enough about me, because nobody wants to hear what the hell I got to say. What have you been playing, Project Storm?
Before I get into what I've been playing, man, not only have you called me Rev, you call me Rev, Dirt Griggity, you call me Christopher Torres, you call me Heath Stevens, Kessel Runner, Ron Slusher. You call me every damn body, man. I think man, you just do what you want, man. But I'll get to the games real quick for the people that's ready for that, man. I've been playing all these Stadia Pro games.
Yes.
Some of them I booted up this morning, like Blue Fire. Well, it was only Blue Fire this morning. The rest of them yesterday, I was on them, right? Giving them the initial taste test or whatever, spin. You know what I mean? Took them out for a spin or whatever, man. And I'll tell you this right here, right? Mm-hmm. Now, do you want to test the games like one at a time, or do you want to just jump into it and give whatever our experience was across the board? How did you want to do it?
Hey, however you want to do it, good brother. However you want to do it.
Okay. It's June, people. So the latest and greatest games are out right now. You got in no particular order, man. Trails of Cold Steel. That was one that I tried on Luna. I actually tried that one on Luna, because it wasn't on Stadia at the time, and I definitely didn't think it was coming as a pro title. Yeah. So to get that one on the platform, I had to give it a try first. Booted it up. It gave me the nice turn-based vibes, man, from like the classic turn-based games back in the day, but then a twist of, I don't know, like the combat system is more, it was just crazy, man. It was easy to jump into, play the game, heal. I had like a ton of healing items and potions and everything, spells I could cast. It was crazy, bro. Like, but the only thing I had about that, and you all can help me figure it out, I tried to go into settings and like my right thumbstick was inverted. And I don't like to play with it inverted. If I push the right thumbstick up, I want to look up, and it was making me look down. I don't know if anybody else had that issue, or if it's a default setting, or if it's something that I broke. I don't know, but I tried to go into the settings during gameplay. I couldn't do it during gameplay. Maybe I need to go back to the main menu to fix that. But other than that, that right there was a great experience. I jumped over to MotoGP 20 because I'm a racing fan. Dirt 5, Grid. All the races over here on Stadia, I pretty much played them all, right? But I tell you this right here. I don't know about the MotoGP yet. I just don't know about the MotoGP 20. Shout out to Sunny Cloud Gaming. I remember when he first got it day one. He did a video on it and said that it wasn't the most beautiful looking racing game that he played, and I know that Sunny's been on the Grid and the F1 2020 and all that, right? So I jumped on it. I noticed that the graphics wasn't anything to write home about. But then I was like, forget the graphics. How does this bike feel racing around the track? So I got on it, you know what I mean? Started doing my thing. And I played games from MotoGP back in the day. I played some bike racing games, man. Yeah. But this one is not, I'm not feeling it right now. Okay. And we keep it real here on SSC and that PNTS network. We're going to keep it real no matter whether you want us to or not. We got to do it.
Yeah, exactly.
So it's just not, that's the most disappointing of the 4 titles to me. Now, that doesn't make it a bad game, right? Some people might love it. I'm just saying, this is how we speak. We speak for ourselves only. I don't think out of the 4, that one I'm gonna have to really search for to give it a lot of playing time. I'm gonna have to dig deep to get having a lot of playing time. I'm just not. I don't know. I don't know. Let me know how y'all feel.
Find the force. Golly.
Let me know how y'all feel, chat. But I tell you what, and I'm gonna say Blue Fire for last, man.
Okay.
The next one, I said Trails. All right, Trails are cool. All right,
it's Chronos.
So we got the MotoGP. We got the Chronos from the Ashes. Oh man. All right, so this one, y'all. You know, I'm a performance hound. I always look for the great performance or the worst performance or whatever. Or anything in between.
Yep.
I had performance issues with Remnant from the Ashes on Xbox, on my Xbox One X, and even on the Series X, I installed it, and it's still like a 30 frame per second experience for me. It's kind of blurry when you turn the camera, so I can't play games like that. It just does something to my eyes and makes me feel queasy. I don't do it. Chronos felt like it was 60 at times in MM2K, but then it felt like it dropped down to the 30s and 40s or whatever. There was something weird with the performance of the game.
Yes.
I don't know if that's going to be optimized later on. I hope that's the case, but right now, Chronos from the Ashes is not. It could be better. It could be better. I'll say that much. It could be better performance-wise. It doesn't mean it's not a good game. But performance-wise, something freaky was going on with that one. And I don't know what it is. Blue Fire, y'all already know, that right there is top flight goodness to me. Performance, everything. The game, the way you move, like the feeling of the movement and everything, man. Like the jumping animations, the sword, the fighting mechanics and all that stuff is cool. Everything works, man. The sound, like the gameplay, everything, the game environment. The characters and the dialogue is crispy, the text and everything that I was looking for from that game, it delivered on, man. Like, it's 60 FPS smooth from what my eyes saw. You know what I mean? It's crispy sharp like it's 4K or up to 4K, whatever the case is. I like the game, man. I'm interested in the game. I like the abilities, like the dash ability and all this stuff that you could do. I like the fact that I'm just ready to get deeper into the game. That's all I'll say. I made a video. It's on the channel right now. Y'all can check that out. I just had a good time with it this morning. So go check that video out. Get a glimpse of me playing the game or whatever. And that's all I'll say about it, man. What about you, MM?
Well, I've been having this Madden fix, right? And I've been stuck on Madden. So what I've been doing is I've been playing Madden on the toughest difficulty, and I've been playing the best team, which right now the best team computer wise is the Saints. They're 93. I play with the Chiefs. Chiefs is my favorite football team. So I play with them, and I'm getting better, man. I'm getting better. I'm trying. So when I'm not playing Madden as of late, I want to get back into the division. Let me drop this on y'all real quick. I haven't even talked to Storm about this yet, but I think Storm will dig it. We want to do something with y'all in regards to Stadia and the great games that are on the platform that have some good crossplay. And the first two games that I'm interested in trying to do something with is Division 2, of course, and Destiny 2, which my brother be tearing it up. He was tearing it up with Daryl Smock the other day on that game, man. It looked beautiful.
Loved it.
Beautiful. So what I'm thinking about, and me and my brother, we got to hash this out. It's just an idea that popped in my head. Y'all let me know what y'all think about it. Let us know, rather. We want to start a group. We want to start a couple clans. The Old Dirty Blasters. It's an old clan that was started by me, my brother, and a developer friend of ours. And the clan just went to the wayside for a few years. And I'm looking to bring them back. So we might have a PNTS clan, the Old Dirty Blasters. And what we'll specialize in is games that are going to be cross-play with Stadia and other platforms. So if you guys are interested in being part of this clan, or you're interested in this clan even existing, just let us know. We're gonna have ways of communicating with you about that, but stay tuned for that. With that being said, I did a little bit of Division. I did a couple of floors. I didn't record it though. I wanted to record it because it was a hell of a time. And lastly, I tried out Chronos. I didn't try out the other pro games, so unfortunately, I didn't get a chance to get the measurements of MotoGP and all the other stuff. But I did try Chronos, and my brother's right, man. We're going to get into this in detail later on in the show. My brother is right. We were talking about this before we went live. And he was like, man, that 30 FPS sloppy, and I was like, yeah, I mean, it feels like 30. I can see the 60, but it feels like 30. And what it is I think it's that damn engine that they're running on, because I think it's the same engine that Remnant was running on. And if you played Remnant on PC, as soon as you hit a light source, that mug would go down to 5 frames per second. So it's a thing with the game. Hopefully they tweak it and fix it. But what I do like to see, despite that, is I'm hoping that Remnant, which is Chronos, is a prequel to Remnant. It's a great game at its core. It's a great game at its core, but that performance, hopefully they'll tweak that performance. But that's all I've been playing, man. A Storm.
What up?
Just some other things that we got going on. It'd be great if you go first and talk about some other things behind the scenes that you're working on, some different accolades and stuff. What you got going on your plate, brother?
Well, just playing a lot of games, man. Trying to bring as many 4K crispy games as I can to all those new Stadia players and all those new territories that's interested in Stadia and all that. Also working with Reb to figure out what we could do as far as community engagement and all that stuff for the Revolutionary Storm, and just like trying to come up with ideas, man, giveaways and all that good stuff to get everybody excited. That's mainly what I'm focusing on the most. But I've been trying to balance my time, man, with PC gaming, because I got this banger of an RTX 3080, right? And I think that's the gift and the curse to my PC gameplay time right now, man. Like, what I mean by that is, ever since I found out that this card has made my Stadia experience better on my desktop PC, it's hard for me to even play native PC games. And if you go to my channel, check it out, subscribe, y'all. Hit the like button on the video. It's not gonna hurt anybody. But I've been playing games like Metro Exodus, the PC enhanced version of the game or whatever, with all the that's only possible on the RTX 3080. The lighting is crazy, by the way. Yes. I've been playing Horizon Zero Dawn over there, and we'll get into more of that Horizon Zero Dawn and Sony talk a little bit later for y'all PlayStation fans out there. We'll get into a little bit of that. All you Xbox fans, we'll get into some of that talk as well. But mostly, we got a show for y'all, for the Stadia fans today, that you all should be like, that's going to put some question marks over your dome. I guarantee you it's going to put a couple question marks over your dome, Metal Gear style. So, that's what I've been kind of like thinking of right now. And summer, I get out for summer, y'all, you know what I'm saying? The nature of my job, every summer I'm off, man. So when that happens, whatever hot release is out, I will be bringing those videos to y'all first in the crispiest 4K I could put out there. Maybe even some 8K, man. Maybe even some 8K. Yeah. I might even get an 8K display in I could tell you how I'm gonna make that happen if you really want to know.
Yes, sir. That's what. So that's what I'm talking about, behind the scenes. Like there's something going on behind the scenes, brother. Where they're giving my good brother more accolades. What's going on, man?
I don't know. I just keep getting. Listen, man. I guess when you do the right thing, when you play these games, you get rewarded or something. I'll say this, yo. I got an email. Shout out to Unit 2, the developers of Creator. I won that. For those of you who already know, I won the Black Content Creator Prize or whatever. Like, if you were a Black content creator or whatever, at one point, Creator, along with Google, Stadia or whatever, actually, they were giving away prize funds, man, in the thousands of dollars, tens of thousands, over 50,000 for sure. And they added another 40, if I'm not mistaken, or something like that, man. It was just crazy for all of the people who would just take the time, all of the content creators who were Black, right? And that right there means so damn much, man. Y'all don't understand what I'm saying right now, right? I'm up here on Stadia, loving Creator anyway, loving the promise of what Creator was going to bring, jumping on the game, having fun with so many people, man, in the community, right? Just having so much fun. All of a sudden, they put this prize fund out there, and I said, yo, let me get off my ass and make me a level. I don't know anything about Lua scripting, none of that stuff. No game development experience, none of this, right? But I made this level called Storm the Castle, man. And yo, y'all just got to check it out, man. Like, if you go to Creator, I don't know if all the Stadia levels, if they're accessible to the PC gamers. I don't know, but that would be cool as hell if they unlock that.
Absolutely.
Where it's accessible to the PC gamer. But yo, I made that level, got $2,000, man. $2,000 prize fund. I didn't know what to do, man. So I put it back to my craft. Like, I put it back to my craft, and that along with all the nice super chats or whatever that you all throw out there, and the donations or whatever that you all throw our way, man, for working hard as we do. I appreciate it. So I say all that to say this, man. I got an email, y'all, this morning. I checked it. The email came 6 days ago, but something said, check your damn email. So I checked my email, got another email that I could potentially be getting more funds. And I don't even know what to say, man. I'm not even going to say the amount or anything. I'm not going to say the amount until after I could prove that it's real. But MM2K, I don't know, man. Maybe it's time to go 8K. Maybe it's time to do some giveaways. I don't know what the deal is. I don't know what I'm going to do yet. But I'll keep y'all posted on that one as I find out more details. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So that's going to be coming up, man.
That's what's up.
It all has to do with that black creator prize fund that they give. Shout out to Unit 2 again, man. Y'all don't understand. Ever since the game dropped, I was already praising the game, showing them love, because they're such a class organization, man. Like such a class, just good people, man. Natalie Griffith, so many people over there, man. Y'all know the guys that from the developers or whatever, like Russ and all of them that actually create a gameplay videos on YouTube. Check it out. Go check it out. See what Creator's all about. You know what I mean? It's included with Pro or whatever, if I'm not mistaken. I got everything, so I don't even know. Like, if you all, for the games that's not still with Stadia Pro, I don't even pay attention to those because I have them all. I've had Stadia Pro since day one. So I don't want to tell y'all the wrong thing, but if Creator's still available for y'all, go check it out, man. I got free DLC and everything that came with Creator. I could do a whole show, and I might do a video. I keep saying I'm going to do a video showcasing the level that I created and just talking about how great Unit 2 has been. And that's before I got the damn prize fund, y'all. So you know how I feel about them after this. They got several awards for just being like the best place to work. All of this stuff, man, genuinely good people. I'm telling you, if you are in game development, you know what I'm talking about. If you communicated with anybody from Unit 2, like Natalie Griffith on Twitter, by the way, she's out there. Oh, man. I don't know, y'all. I don't know what else to say. But I appreciate them. I'm humbled by it and all that stuff, and I'll keep y'all posted.
That's some great stuff by the Creator team. It's so fantastic to see what they're doing in regards to giving back to the different gaming communities, trying to encourage people to interact and develop and stuff like that. I mean, there's just so many things that are great about that platform. I wish that when they went multi-plat and went on PC, that it wasn't shrouded with the whole SG&E thing, because people just can't let that go. That's like a bad wart. You know what I'm saying? They just can't cut it off. But I think that got overshadowed. But they're still doing great stuff. So kudos to that team, man. Shout out to all of y'all. With that said, I also I want to throw something out there too. Shout out to the homie Jack Deslip. The Wiz, we talked about him. He co-host of the Number Show on Stadia that airs on this channel. Jack has spearheaded. He's trying to do a lot of great things for the Stadia community. Love the guy for his enthusiasm of the platform and so much more. He's trying to spearhead some community unity, right? So we have a tournament that is started. Or that's going to be starting soon in July, I believe it is. Let me just go to this screen right here.
Yeah, because I was thinking June. It might be starting in July, but I know something's going to be popping off as far as announcements and stuff like that this month. So stay tuned on that one.
Well, that's the wrong screen. So now I got to fix that. Hold on one second. That definitely is the wrong screen. How did they even get that?
Don't show them the stimmy or nothing like that, man. Come on now.
Yeah, I'm showing the stimmy right now. That's the wrong screen. So this is the Summer Community Championship Twitter account. And this is a tournament that's going to happen starting in July of 2021. There's going to be a grand prize of $1,000. All right. Grand prize of $1,000, second prize $500, and third prize $200, and then $100 per individual game winner. So there's going to be a series of tournament style things. Clive, my good brother Clive Linden broke this down in better detail than I could. So definitely go see Monday night Stadia chat with Clive, my brother Clive Linden. He is in the chat as well. Shout out to my spiritual advisor, all things Stadia. But go check him out. He gives you a breakdown at the beginning of his show on how the things will work. But definitely, this is something that's going to be huge, y'all. So shout out to Jack and shout out to the other committee members. I've been honored to be part of the committee, so we're planning some big things here. More to come. But what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to go to Twitter and go at the Summer CC. At the Summer CC. You can see it up top here. At the Summer CC. Go there and you'll be able to see the Twitter account. Go follow it so you can get up-to-date information on once that tournament hits. So that's gonna be some big stuff.
Major. Yeah. And of course you already know I'm going for that grand prize, man. You already know I'm going for that grand prize. I already know that one of the games is gonna be Hitman and all that. So I'm gonna be doing elusive targets and everything on that game, just trying to get ready for it, y'all. So hey, Clive, good evening to you too, man. I know MM2K don't know what the hell is going on when you come in here with the, with the Japanese text and everything. But man, I've been doing my thing, Clive. I've been researching, man, because of you. We also got Chariot Man Gaming in the building, y'all. Tech Love Mama's in the house, y'all. Hey, we got a good one. Hey, Christopher Torres, man, we got a good one for y'all today. Jamie Reed, KB, Dominicano 791, Jay. We got who else joined? I want to make sure we get y'all now because we may not see the chat in a minute when we start talking about what we got lined up today. It's Artists is in the house, y'all. Dylan Tortosa's in the building. What up, Dylan? We got to get up. Dylan. We got to get up. We ain't forget about you, man. We ain't forget about you. Cloud. All right. So I said Actuary Stud is in the house, y'all. Heath Stevens.
Heath.
Hey, it's good to see Heath up in here, man. Good to see Heath up in here. When we don't see you, we get worried, Heath. Unitrix.
Absolutely.
Ron Slusher. Kessel
Yes.
Runner.
Ron.
Man, who are cold as ice. Predator is in the building, man. We already said that early. But MM, man, what is on the agenda?
Well, before we get into the agenda, I want to give a shout out to Jamie Reed for the $1 sticker. Thank you so much for the support. Appreciate you, my good friend. Now it's time to get into it, man. So you may have seen in the title, let me make sure I get it right. It says, "How we viewed Stadia all wrong." And yes, we have viewed Stadia all wrong. We've gotten it all wrong. Yeah, some of us. Well, you know what? I'm going to throw myself in there as well because Storm, I fell into some of this rhetoric. Like I understood it at first because and we were talking about the revelations of this. It's funny. So I was talking to other outlets about this, and this is when everybody was excited about Google, when there wasn't all this massive hate before they realized it wasn't their Game Pass that they wanted, right? So, and then I fell off the wagon. And the good brother, shout out to 6'4 Freeform Gaming, man. Shout out to him. He got me back on track, right? But we've been looking at Stadia all wrong, Storm. What do I mean by us looking at Stadia all wrong? Well, you know how we do. Let me show you something. You know I love saying that because I'm a psycho nut. Let's go here. This right here is an interview that Eurogamer did with Phil Harrison and Maj Bakar. Did I say that right, Storm?
Yeah, you said it right. It might be Maj, man.
Maj?
It might be Maj, but I say Maj. I apologize, Maj.
Maj Bakar.
Yeah.
On Google Stadia. Now, granted, this is an older interview. However, this interview happened in March of 2019. But this interview, there was so much. This is one of the longest question and answer interviews I think I've ever seen in my life. And there was so much that they put out here that's still relevant about Stadia that would answer why they're making a lot of the moves that they're making and why a lot of us was confused. Remember how I said we fell off the wagon, Storm?
Yes,
and
sir.
we were, doing shows and coming up with and making up stuff. This explains, if we would have just referred back to the documents, to the blueprint, Storm. Instead of coming up with our own conjecture, a lot of this would have made a lot more sense, and we would have done the people on the other end of these microphones a lot more better, or we would have done them a lot better service had we just stuck to these reference points.
Can I say something?
Yes, sir. Go ahead.
See, this is what I get so excited for, y'all. As you're about to hear the things you're about to hear, if they don't generate excitement, then I don't know, man. For me, this stuff gives me the chills, man. Like the stuff that you're about to hear, and we're just gonna skim. We're gonna touch the surface on some of it, but go check the article out, y'all. You know, we got the link right. We're gonna have the link here. You know where it's from if y'all want to go find it. But look, I remember reading this stuff and hearing about it. But sometimes when other people break things down, like other people in the community, other content creators, they might break it down and you might put a like on the video and you might subscribe after that. Like, damn, that was fire, right? Mm-hmm. But some of us are lazy. We don't want to go and do all that reading because we'll look at it and if it's more than 5 paragraphs, we're like, nope. Ain't reading that. I'm tuning in to Storm and MM2K, for example. Or I'm tuning in to Brian Chappelle or Clive Illenden or Chariot Man Gaming as they break it down. You know what I mean? Tech loving mama, somebody's going to break it down for us because we're too lazy or we don't have time. We might generally don't have time. But y'all, you might want to go and read every word of this right here. And it came out, as you see the date now. The date is from 2019, March 2019, before Stadia was even in the public eye.
Yep.
I mean, this stuff, like, man, we got to get into it, man, because this here, once I start talking about it, bro, you know it's going to be like a good 30 minutes to an hour, man.
Well, I'm gonna just scroll through this real quick. I'm not, like you said, we're just only gonna pick out bits and pieces because, I want to show you why this thing is long. Look at how long this damn thing is. Like, my brothers, shout out to Project Storm. This is why, you know what I'm saying. This is why having people that really have not only have an enthusiasm for the platform, who'll keep it real, who'll tell you the truth, like he just told you the truth about MotoGP and Kronos on the platform, who's going to keep it real, but has an enthusiasm for the platform and always wants to make sure that we pivot from a place of facts. Having a brother like this, man, you know what I'm saying, working with you is a great thing. My brother rediscovered this and said, look, Moss, we got to recalibrate everything. We got to recalibrate the systems and get everybody back on track, right? And so that's what we're going to do today. So it's a long interview. I won't go over everything because it'll take over the whole show. We joked about that too.
Yeah, like, we can spend I'm like, man, we need 2 hours. We need 2 hours
to go over this whole show. But there's some big things, some big takeaways, and I'm gonna go over it, and I'm gonna get my brother Storm to chime in on this as well. So there's been a huge misinformation campaign going on about Stadia, and it's been internally and externally, Storm. A lot of that is I think the biggest takeaway from the misinformation campaign is we often refer to Stadia as a console in the sky. As a console in the sky. But even though we've done that because, Storm, there are some console-esque type things that are relative to Stadia. And Phil Harrison himself did say that, hey, look, part of our early target demo are those that are trying to access hardware like consoles, but feel like that, you know, that gaming has pushed them back. But Stadia is trying to go beyond being a console. In totality, it's really, Stadia is trying to separate itself from the console experience altogether. And I want to show you why this is the case and how we need to properly look at Stadia by sharing with you a few quotes. So here goes the first quote. And this is targeting the long-term target demo for Stadia. And this is from Phil Spencer. He says, our platform engages deeply with YouTube technology. There are really 2 discrete universes that coexist. There are people who play games and there are people who watch games. There are 200, now this is in, well, I'll finish the quote. There are 200 million people watching games on YouTube every day. And he's making this comment in 2019. In 2018, there was 50 billion hours of time of watch time of game content. Our vision for our platform is to converge those 2 worlds together so that you can be watching a game, click, and be playing a game, and vice versa. We're going to go into further why this is beyond what a console offers or resting your laurels on a console. But Storm, just off of that quote right there, I have to ask you a couple questions. First and foremost, based off of that, is Stadia at a position right now to be considered a failure if this is their goal?
No, because it's something new. Is what I've been trying to say. As long as well as others out here, y'all. You know who you are. If you've been trying to tell people this, then you know who I'm talking to, right?
Yes.
So it's kind of like this is something brand new that's never been done before. The resources, and we'll get into all that stuff, man. The resources that Stadia has and Google has at their disposal, this can't be duplicated anywhere else, y'all. This is something new, which is why. All right, so I'll get into this real quick, and then we'll elaborate later. This has never been done before. So there was skepticism and all that stuff, rightfully so, from some people, I guess, right? But then I kept asking myself, how the hell did they get Red Dead Redemption 2? How did they lock this up early on in Stadia's life cycle, man? How did they get Bungie convinced and Ubisoft convinced and all these other developers now who you've been seeing, Konami and others, Capcom, to put their games on this damn platform?
Yep.
Like, I kept beating myself up just trying to figure this out. Like, I know there's something special about Stadia, and I know that developers, they told us over 400 developers, like there was an overwhelming level of interest in the beginning for Stadia and the platform. And I know I kept reading here and there that they were working with the developers, MM2K. We kept talking about the porting process. Some people out there were like, yo, it's hard to port games to Stadia. And I kept seeing, and I didn't know where it was coming from, but I kept hearing and seeing and stuff. Like, I know that these games are going to be, Stadia is going to be easy to port for. Some developers have already said it. So this is what we're getting caught up in, y'all. We're getting caught up in, some of us, I mean, like, especially all of the ones who don't think Stadia, like Amanor. Shout out to Amanor, by the way. He's in the chat, man. Now your mama knows, and everybody else, Derek Graham in the building, man. Mm-hmm. You all have been around for this conversation, so you know. Amanor enjoys it. He sits back and says, you know, I'm sure he has like something in front of him to eat, a nice drink, a napkin on his lap or whatever, you know what I'm saying? You know, so Amanor, if I'm Amanor, I'm enjoying all of the Stadia talk, man. So check it out. MM2K. Yes, people have broken this down before. This very article has been covered. It's been read.
It has been,
but we keep forgetting it because time goes by, and big announcements like Cyberpunk and Immortal Phoenix Rising and all that stuff will make us forget the roots, man, so to speak.
Yep.
Like, all of the jewels have already been, the breadcrumbs are out there for us to pick up and follow the trail, man, that's going to lead us to the land of electric air, you know? So that's why I get excited, y'all. I get excited, and you can call me a fanboy if you want to. I've been called worse by far. Call me that if you want to, but there's something crazy about this tech, y'all. And there's something crazy about what Google is doing with their exclusive technology. MM2K, I'm going to shut up, man, so we can get deeper into this one right here.
Yeah, I mean, I get it, Storm, that a lot of people, I get it that it's easier for us, some as content creators, some as people that are looking for constant drips of news. I get that it's more engaging and more fun to, if there's no news that's out there, we create our own news, right? Yes, it's not fun and exciting to see page 5, you know, to keep referring back to the source. But if you're pivoting from facts, that's what you do. You got to keep, you know, regurgitating stuff. There's an old saying that a wise person taught me. Repetition is the mother of learning. You know what I'm saying? So it's just all in your presentation. It ain't my fault that, you know, maybe some people's presentation is a little bit lackluster and tastes like old vanilla wafers. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's on you. But the facts is the facts. If you're trying to be based and rooted in facts, then you got to pivot back to this stuff. And I've been guilty of it too, Storm, that I haven't pivoted back to this. But again, what the target demo, the long-term target demo for Stadia is to converge the worlds of those that play games and those that watch games. There are those that play games that want to interact more with those watching them and make it easier for those that are watching them. And Stadia presents that with its features and stuff like that. But then on the flip side of it, there are those that watch games that may feel like they've been detracted from being able to play them. I got to wait in long lines to get a PlayStation 5. it's $500 and I just ain't got it yet. You know what I'm saying? I got to wait for these downloads and I ain't got the time, and so on and so on. That's where Stadia again comes in and says, oh no, you ain't got to worry about that. Now, instead of just sitting there watching this, if you want to pick up the sticks and join your favorite content creator, you can do that. That's beyond having a box giving you the most powerful fidelity, Storm.
And I want to ask something when you're done.
No, go ahead, brother, because before
some people
I move
MM2K,
on,
some people are gonna say, well, MM2K and Storm, what's so different about this than what Twitch is doing with Amazon is doing with Twitch, right? They're gonna be doing some kind of integration and all this stuff, and they're gonna be using like crowd play like features and stuff. But see, here's the thing, y'all. Look at when this article was dated, March 2019. Imagine what was going on around the time when Amazon was trying to figure out what was going on with Luna. And we wonder why Stadia is kind of tight-lipped on what's going on with their technology and stuff, right?
Yes.
I'm surprised they shared this damn much.
Yeah.
What you all are about to see, it's crazy, man. Like, think about it. Like, why would you want to tell your competition every move you're making, man? I kept asking that question. I don't know. So, and then here, sure enough, shout out to Luna. I play Luna, y'all. I don't have a problem with it. I don't hate it. I'm not allergic to it, right? But I kept saying to people, this is why Stadia is so tight-lipped on certain things. That's how you have to be.
Absolutely.
But in this interview right here, we're going to learn that Stadia has some stuff up its sleeves that nobody in the industry has. If we get on that. I'm going to make sure we touch on it, though. I'll make sure we cover it before we wrap up.
I don't have any authority. You know, when we come in with facts and behind-the-scenes stuff, I'll tell you we got it on good authority. This is all MM2K conjecture right here. But I wholeheartedly believe what my brother just said. Why? I just find it funny. You know what I'm saying? Just someone that recognizes patterns for a living. That's how I feed my family. That's how I keep my damn lights on. By recognizing patterns and doing data analysis and stuff like that. I find it funny that, we know Amazon was getting into this game. But then all of a sudden, everybody else that's been doing this ain't been doing it, doing it the way Google is doing it. GFN is doing it a different way. Shadow is doing it a different way. Xbox is doing it a different way. And all of those technologies seem inferior. Amazon was quiet. They was just chilling like doo-doo-doo-doo. Then all of a sudden they come out and they got a Wi-Fi type controller or something very similar to what Stadia. You see a lot of similarities of Stadia with Amazon and Ubisoft, who, again, I still got the cash on the table for those that can find this interview. I remember seeing Phil Harrison at one point in time saying, expect Uplay Plus at the time to come early 2020. Now, you have this Ubisoft Stadia relationship that all of a sudden just dissipates a little bit. I'm not saying that Division 2 wasn't great, but it didn't seem as strong as it was. And then the first place they dropped Uplay Plus was Amazon. Like, you don't think Amazon came in and swooped up that deal and said, oh, y'all ain't dot all y'all I's and cross y'all T's on this. Hey, Ubisoft, here goes a bigger bag. Like, I just feel like what Storm is saying, there may be some truth behind a lot of that, because I just find it too eerie that Amazon was quiet, but a lot of what they're doing, not maybe in the business model, but a lot of their functionality, who they're partnering with, the games that they're getting, and a lot of stuff that they're doing is mimicking Stadia. And that could be a reason why, Storm, that Stadia is tight-lipped. It would make perfect sense for me. You got the media hammering you and somebody else, stealing your food, but making it look tastier. You know what I'm saying? Making it look tastier perception-wise. With that being said, I got another question for you, Storm.
Go ahead.
In the advent of all this, if your job is to take the most popular games, the Fortnites, the Overwatches, the Maddens, FIFAs, and all that other stuff, and you want to meld together that bridge of connectivity between content creator and gamer, do exclusives even play a major role in that equation?
Short answer, no. At that point, it does not. It just does not. You're talking about a more robust library, a more varied and diverse library, right? A library that's going to bring you that billion of gamers. all of them now we know are really well. We know that Sony's after that. We know that Amazon's after that. We know that
Mm-hmm.
Stadia's after that. So you're trying to focus on that now. So we'll talk about the shakeup that may have occurred, and we can maybe get into some of that for the people to with SG&E. I mean, I know. Shout
Yeah.
out to Stadia Revolution, man. Red, my brother, he don't like talking about it too much, man. He don't like talking about SG&E.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's a real historic event that happened in life.
Yeah.
We got to
Exactly.
talk about it. You know what I'm saying? If we're
Yep.
going to talk about all of the other events that happen
Yeah.
hey, this is a big event that happened in gaming. It's never been done before. It's never been seen before. And now I'm with this article right here alone showed me what Stadia could have been thinking about at the
Mm-hmm.
time when they first announced SG&E or Stadia
Yeah.
Games and Entertainment to the point where they had to go ahead and shut it down.
Mm.
So Akash, man, I wish, hey, we don't have to tweet up right now. I know I'm catching my brother off guard, but shout out to
Mm-hmm.
Akash, man, on Twitter. Y'all know who he is if you're in the community. He brought up something very important. Didn't know what we were going to discuss in today's show, but
Mm-hmm.
he found had some revelations himself, or found something that made him think that maybe there's a reason, a particular reason why Stadia went ahead and did what they did. Now we've been
Yep.
talking about this for the last few months now, y'all. So it's nothing new here. But let's get into, man, we got to get more into this right here, MM2K. We got to get more into this so people can understand where we're coming from, and then so they can go and read this whole thing and then start formulating their own conclusions and all that.
Well, no,
Because
oh, go ahead.
in this interview, I'm just saying, this interview taught me that maybe Stadia wasn't fully into the SG&E from the beginning because they had a plan for all developers, and I've been saying this, y'all, without
Mm-hmm.
referring back to this article that I never read in its entirety until last night. But all developers, because they're thinking cloud native, cloud
Mm-hmm.
centric. You're gonna see stuff like that in this article, y'all, and that's what their primary focus is. So they're not worried about consoles. They're not even worried about Xbox with their server blades.
Mm-hmm.
This
Yeah.
article says that they wasn't worried. They were not worried about Xbox and the server blades, the One
Mm-hmm.
S server blades, and they're now going to be worried about the
What
Series
about
X
no?
server blades
Mm-hmm.
because
Mm-hmm.
man, they got their own technology that
Yeah.
potentially surpasses everything
Yes.
that you all know about today.
Yes. We're going to talk about that too, Storm. Like we hear often, it's easier to get the tech than it is to get the games.
Yeah,
I don't agree with that. And then this article shows that to get to where Stadia is at, and I'm going to argue Luna to get where Stadia and Luna's at, but I believe Luna's still a step behind or a few steps behind Stadia, but they're going to get there. They're going to get to where Stadia's at now eventually, but Stadia's going to continue to grow. I think Stadia's going to have a head start in front of everybody for a while. You know what I mean? That being said, no, it's not that easy. Like Xbox's methodology is flawed when it comes to the cloud. They've created a dedicated device and they're putting a dedicated device in a server. And from my thought process, in looking at that, I don't think that it's going to have the effect on latency, the effect on performance, the effect in visuals that you're going to see from other cloud platforms. So this theory that Stadia is going to be able to, or Xbox is going to be able to leapfrog and get to where Stadia is at, never believed it. And talking to the experts in this article, they didn't believe it either. And I remember, Storm, when this article dropped around the same time. Shout out to Colt Eastwood and Jazz Gordon. I ain't got no problems with them. I just don't agree with them on a lot of this stuff. I remember when this article dropped because around that same time, both of them had sent out tweets that saying, look, people are questioning Xbox's technology in this. And I got to find that tweet. I wish I'd have found it live before we went live. But Xbox is aiming for something else. So they showed this grid from my memory, if my memory is right, where Xbox is looking to get to the points that all the other cloud platforms are getting to further down the road. So this belief that Xbox is just going to be able to flip a switch and leapfrog where they're at, I don't think so. And hence why they got Rainway involved. They had to get a third party involved. So again, this is going to be an interesting space to watch, but it's not as elementary as far as closing that gap as a lot of people may believe. And I think we saw symptoms of that in this interview. There's more contrasting storm that they're doing. I want to read another quote and then ask you a couple more questions.
Got it.
More contrasting from being a console that is important to point out. And again, a reason, well, you know what? A reason why we do this is because we want to make sure that we don't ever pivot away from the facts. But before we get into that, Storm, I want to get your thoughts on this because you brought up Akash's tweet, and I do have it up on the screen. Akash said, shout out to Akash Monger out on Twitter, my brother. He says, as time passes and we see more cancellations, delays, and more money spent into games by extremely well-funded studios, the SG&E closure is starting to make more sense on a business front while Stadia still develops. So I'm going to pivot this back to you. In reading this article, it does make you think back now in retrospect. Yes. Like, were they really deep rooted? I mean, we know they spent a lot of money on SG&E, right, and we know that they didn't want to move forward with this. But was exclusive in SG&E really fundamental to what Stadia was doing? What are your thoughts?
Oh man, I'm going to go into it right now. In this article that we are showcasing, first of all, shout out to Akash. Like I said, man, it was right on time. It's funny how things connect, how the stars align, y'all. Like right before we go live, he puts this out on Twitter, right? As you can see, my response that I gave or whatever, it's like, I mean, it just makes sense. And I've said this before for the people for the people that's been here, y'all, rocking with us week after week, show after show, y'all. You know I've said this, right?
Yeah.
I'm not surprised by it, and I'm not like the biggest supporter of exclusivity like I used to be. Like I used to be, Halo had to be Xbox, Gears of War, Xbox, PlayStation, God of War, Nintendo, Zelda, and all that stuff, man, Metroid and all that. I used to be that dude, but I'm not that dude. I haven't been that dude for over 10 years now, I think, y'all. Like I started wondering, does exclusivity really matter? Like, does it really make or break gaming, y'all? Really? And then I'm seeing games like Horizon Zero Dawn, Days Gone, that's going to PC, and more games are probably going to go to PC because of the success of Horizon Zero Dawn. Maybe we'll get into that a little bit later if we could pull up a tweet from Shinobi. If you all are familiar with Shinobi, he's always dropping that inside news. So it just makes you think, man, like Stadia is not out here. And you said this before. You all have brought to light, you and others, MM2K, you, Clive, and everybody else. You think that Google has an unlimited Stadia budget or whatever, right? Stadia has all the money that Google has at their disposal. That's what the average gamer might think. Uninformed, unaware gamer might think that, right?
Yep.
But then you guys hit me over the head and say, no, Storm. Yeah, while they're worth hundreds of billions or whatever, or over 100 and something billion or whatever case is, not all that money is going to Stadia, bro. Like they're not in it to blow all their cash on Stadia. Yep. So I mean, when you look at it like that, it all makes sense. And in the same article, you learn, like they mentioned capital, like capex and everything, which is capital expenditure, y'all. Like they're out here bringing up examples of how certain like Origins, like I think it was Origins or whoever, EA or whoever was trying to get into cloud gaming and what it might cost or whatever to create these data centers and everything. Multi-billion dollars, man. Multi-billion dollars, y'all. Billions of dollars. It's crazy when you think about that amount of money. So as the head of a company, would you all want to see your company bleed that money if it's not necessary to do so? If you could prevent that from happening? Are you going to go with the traditional model where we have to follow Xbox, PlayStation, and Nintendo because they're in the console space doing it? Or do you sit back at the table and say, oh, hell no, we're not even in the console space. What are we doing here?
Exactly.
Hold on. Wait a minute.
Yep.
What are we doing here?
Yep.
I'm sorry, this is a tough decision. We have to tell Jade and everybody else that we're shifting direction. It's nothing personal. This is a company-wide move that we think is going to benefit Stadia and the gamers and the industry, most importantly, in the long term.
Yep.
Now, hold up, you got to listen to what I just said.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to benefit Stadia. It's going to benefit the gamers and the industry in the long run, man. Mm-hmm. Because that's what all of these companies claim that they're trying to do. They're trying to grow the industry. And we know that they're doing a good job at that because even NVIDIA, you just brought up $50 billion. watch time hours or whatever on YouTube.
Mm-hmm.
But Nvidia just did the showcase at Computex, where they announced the 3080 Ti and the 3070 and all that, right? That show just happened a couple days ago.
Yep.
They just brought up the fact that this is a $180 billion industry right now. That's far beyond movies and like cinema and all that other stuff, forms of entertainment, man. Gaming. Like, it's crazy when you think about it. So yes, the execs and heads of these companies are going to be sitting here like, yo, what makes sense?
Mm-hmm.
What makes sense? Do we really want to throw out all these billions on SG&E to hope that we get a great product that's going to be the next blockbuster? Because we know a lot of games that's exclusive already on other platforms. MM2K don't even break the 10 million mark sometimes, and they're great games, man. Mm-hmm. They don't even break the 10 million marks sold some at times. Well, it's I'm talking about not even over the life cycle. I'm talking about like a year, 2-3 years after release.
Yep. Well, Shuhei Yoshida of PlayStation, the great former head of Worldwide Studios, who saw the original God of War that we've never saw, and said to Cory Barlog, "Oh no, that's not it, Chief. You got to go back to the drawing board." And therefore, we got this God of War that we all saw and love. Even he said, "This is why lineage is so important." I remember sitting on a podcast a few years ago, and somebody said, "We don't give a damn about your lineage, and we don't care about," because they wanted to just sit there and argue and fuss and say, "Well, I think, I feel." It's not about that. You're not servicing anybody by doing that on the end of the mic without any facts behind it except yourself. We try to go beyond just ourselves here at Stadia Dosage. That being said, you got to have the lineage, or you got to research the lineage. Shuhei Yoshida, the head of Worldwide Studios, producers of in recent history of the best, of what is considered the best exclusives out there, told you that out of 10 exclusives that Sony funds and backs or creates, they only expect to make money off of 3 of them at the most, and maybe 1 or 2 of them make enough to fund other ones in future endeavors. That's a very risky business. Even so, that's the ratio, the very low ratio for the producers of the best exclusives out there. So if it's that way for them, and these guys had to master their craft, it took them years to master that craft, how much more riskier is it for Google? And I think what happened was, and because I saw in that thread with the cars that someone had commented, well, it's a shame that we're not seeing exclusives, because who makes better use of your abilities than your own first-party developers? And that is true. However, you got to look at your business plan. If you're trying to sell a box and you got to convince people of the power of your box, then you have to have that first-party development tool. You know what I'm saying? But if your job, again, is to bridge the gap between content creators and gamers themselves, you may not need that because they're already there. You don't have to bring anybody anywhere. They're already at YouTube, Storm. So it's just about you developing those tools. And maybe you wanted to have a first-party studio to show the developers, oh, this is what you could do with the tools. But you're wasting so much money and that effort if nobody cares about those games. So why not instead just bring the engineers to the developers themselves and say, hey, look, we'll pay you. You know what I'm saying? We'll pay you instead to take your big ticket AAA game that's already been proven, and for you to put these in said game. I think that's powerful, that's instrumental. And again, we always got to pivot back to these facts, to these articles. As unsexy as it may be, we got to pivot back to them because it'll keep us on the right path.
I'm gonna ask this question before moving on, man.
Yep.
Like, would you want your technology in a handful of games per year? Mm-hmm. Or would you want your technology in tens to hundreds of games per year?
I think you need to
think about that, y'all. Think about this new way of thinking that it has to be going on over there. Hey, let me get at the. I just want to get in one of the meetings. That's all, Phil. You know what I'm saying? You guys match if you're listening, man.
Yeah.
Yo, let me just get in thoughts, y'all, because this stuff, you all are talking about is interesting as hell. I don't even know where else to put this, man. Like
Mm-hmm.
MM2K, it shifted I've been kind of understanding. I've been thinking in my head that I understand what Stadia is doing. I
Mm-hmm.
understand the moves, the logic of it, doing it right now versus doing it later, because when you do it later, you're too far into it. You know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean? You're talking about the losses of more billions of dollars that could be put into convincing the other developers or whatever, like a Bungie, like a Ubisoft, like a Take Two or whatever, into making these great games that we know are going to be coming out soon. So
Mm-hmm.
you're going to be helping them learn, man. I just see it, man. We can go ahead. Let's move on. We can move on.
So here's another comment, and I want to get your thoughts on it, Storm. Um, Again, contrasting itself from the console in the sky motif that a lot of us erroneously regurgitated, me included. I'm not trying to take shots at anybody. I've done this too erroneously. I was on the right path. I fell off the wagon. My brother 64 said, "Come on, brother. Come on, man. You doing so good. We almost there. Get back on the wagon and help me out." So, all right. Here's a comment from Phil Spencer in that same interview. It even goes down to what we call the platform. It's not a game system. It's not a console. Actually, the point of our platform is that we are not a console.
Wow.
It's a. Let me read that back. I gotta read it again. I gotta go.
Please, I was going to ask you, please.
Let's do this again. Again, the point that Stadia wants to make to contrast what it's offering from being a console. Quote again from Phil Harrison. It goes down. It's even goes down to what we call the platform. It's not a game system. It's not a console. Actually, the point of our platform is that we are not a console. It's a place to gather. It's a place where you can have different types of game experiences, whether you are watching, playing, or participating, whether you're being entertained or whether you are the one doing the entertaining. And they also go in further in talking about how this led to the name Stadia, as short for stadiums and stuff like that. So, Storm, with that
What's
being
up?
said, with them not wanting this attributed to anything all around console-ish, the point of our platform is that we're not a console. That's a direct quote. It's a place to gather. I got a couple questions for you.
Go ahead.
Question number one: are comparisons to GFN, my brother, they're always made due to this statement from Phil Harrison and Stadia themselves? Is GFN even in the same league?
Sounds like it's not the case, man.
Yeah.
It sounds like this GFN is an extension of PC gaming for all of those
Yes.
who can't get their hands on the hardware or can't afford the hardware that they want to play games at a high level. That's always
Yes.
been a barrier, by the way. So shout out to GeForce Now for trying to break that barrier for people, right? But
Mm-hmm.
Stadia's out here saying to me, no, man, no, we're taking this beyond what's possible on GeForce Now, what's possible even on native PCs that's in our homes right now, like the one I have right here with this 3080 in it that I brag about, right? But they're out here saying cloud native, man,
Mm-hmm.
cloud centric.
Yes.
This is stuff that so they can't easily wrap your mind, MM2K, around cloud native and cloud centric because people don't know what the hell that means,
Yeah.
right?
Yep.
Because we're not there yet. So what they had to do was they had to compare by using teraflops, 10.7 as a matter of fact. They had to compare that to speak to the console gamers. They had to compare with what console gamers had already known, They had to use what PC gamers have already known for them to even get a little bit of interest into getting eyes and ears on the platform. Like, now, I don't know who some people might disagree with that. I hope not too many, but think about it. Then they go in this article, they go on to say he elaborates on the 10 point, whatever, it's more than 10 teraflops in one instance of Stadia, by the way, just one instance.
Yes.
Now, because Rich Ledbetter, he asked during that interview, he said, wait a minute. He's saying, is that a shared instance between like two or more users or whatever? Bill Harrison was just like, no, just one instance or whatever. Just one instance. So this technology, y'all, I'm just going to say it right now in case I forget later. Stacking, elastic computing. Imagine taking the 10.7 teraflop custom GPU, which is why Monster Boy developers and other developers are saying Stadia doesn't even need to upgrade. We're hitting 120 frames per second plus right now with this hardware that we have. We don't even. All right, let me shift the focus from the tech side for a minute, man. Like, imagine if you're a developer again and you see this, because they have to give them the breakdown. They have to give them a vision of what Stadia is capable of. Imagine you see this right here. And then you see Stadia out here running the way it does. And you see them implementing state share and crowd choice and crowd play and all that. All these promises that they have lived up to, right? They've kept for the gamers. You see this and you turn your back on it and say, hell no, I'm not developing for Stadia. Get out of my face. And Stadia's up here like, we got something great, y'all, that's never been seen. It could propel gaming forward. I'm talking about, it could hit tens of thousands of player battle royale matches. Remember when I used to just say thousands and I used to brag about it, MM?
Yeah.
Well, I had to correct myself by looking at this recent article or whatever that I read. And it's tens of thousands of players they could still probably do in the future with Stadia, y'all. So I don't know. It's just so many levels and so many things to think about when it comes to this stuff. But I could tell you, I have never used Stadia and console in the same sentence. I have always been one of those ones that tried to correct people, tried my best to correct people when they use Stadia as it's a console. Yeah, it's a console.
Me included. Included.
This is a great console. Yeah, and I'm like, yo, see, when you do that, you're lumping it into something that's traditional already. Stadia is non-traditional, man. And if you don't believe what I'm saying, again, this is a good read. This is why we're highlighting it. Read just this article. There's more out there, but just read this one, you all. I guarantee you it might intrigue some of you.
So
a lot of you.
I got to say this as a precursor because I don't want people to get offended because we appreciate all of y'all and we love when y'all are busy in the chat. That helps grow the conversation. Shout out to Maker of Chaos 12. He's in the chat and him and Kessel Runner have a great discussion. He says that exclusives are a good incentive for people to use the platform. They did not need to close SG&E. They closed it to cut costs. Google can easily afford a one-piece studio. Here's my response to that. The evidence doesn't support that. Here's what the evidence supports. Microsoft has been around since 2001, 2002. The purpose of Microsoft was to stop Sony from taking over the living room. Well, not Microsoft, Xbox. Xbox has been around since 2002. The purpose of Xbox was to stop Sony from taking over the living room. Just look up the battle for the living room. Google the battle of the living room maker, and you'll get acclimated with all this. So Xbox was just a stopgap. Microsoft, therefore, was willing to spend endless amount of money because it served a stopgap purpose. It was an auxiliary function, and it really wasn't designed to make money. That's when people weren't, or businesses weren't as fiscally responsible as they are now, right? So they threw a whole bunch of money at Xbox. We know that Xbox over 2 generations lost $10 billion, and Microsoft didn't give two rats' asses about it because their sole purpose was to stop Sony from taking over the living room with the PlayStation, right? Then that fight for the living room was over because they wouldn't hire Satya Nadella to be their new CEO. They were now thinking more about the cloud. Once that fight for the living room was over and you saw businesses wanting to be more fiscally responsible, they then said, oh no, okay, before we make any other investments into this platform, any extravagant investments, we have to have some money making happening here. First thing that Satya Nadella did was help orchestrate the purchase of the Havoc engine and Minecraft and stuff like that. And then He went to Xbox and said, you guys are going to have to start thinking about how you're going to integrate cloud into the gaming world. I'm requiring cloud being integrated into everything. You're gonna have to figure out how to do it here. So with all those actions, Microsoft went from losing $10 billion to finally starting getting out of the red. And Sony's biggest year within 24 years at that time in 2018, to their $16 billion that they brought in, Microsoft brought in $10 billion with lackluster quote unquote exclusives. So when we sit here and we put all this emphasis on exclusives for success, that may be true if you underline success as being number one in the console world. But what Microsoft showed you is by being fiscally responsible, by having revenue coming in to help support your efforts, and you not even having the best exclusives, you still could make $10 billion to Sony's record-breaking $6 billion. So I think we're putting an emphasis on exclusives when it comes to this cloud platform in the wrong light. And to say that they can easily do it, Google can easily do it. Stadia is its own business sector. It has to generate the revenue in order to do it. The investors, the board, looked at the numbers and said it doesn't justify itself when your user base wants instances like Cyberpunk 2077. Every time we poll these people, exclusives are at the bottom of the poll. Why are y'all doing this with SG&E? And therefore SG&E got closed. So again, we got to pay attention to the market aspect of this. As gamers, we got to be acclimated to the market, because as long as we're not acclimated to the market, we cut off 50 to 60% of understanding why a lot of these decisions that we don't understand happen. So, but those are some good sources to look at. Look at the fight for the living room. Look at Microsoft earnings in 2018 when they were getting the lowest ratings for their exclusives. And you'll see why Stadia ended up doing the thing that they did. Any thoughts? Any other thoughts before we move on, Storm?
Nah, Maker, I was just gonna extend that and what Maker of Chaos is saying. Like he said, also, I would effectively say Stadia is sorely missing many titles. Mass Effect Remastered, Biomutant, Hood, MotoGP 21 examples, right? If they wanted to get more third-party games, they are doing a poor job, in Maker's opinion, right? I'm saying that that's not even with them bringing more games to the platform, games that some people didn't think were going to be on the platform in the first place, like a Sekiro or PUBG or other games, right? That's already made it to Stadia. Mm-hmm. I'm thinking that, those conversations are happening. You know what I mean? And you're going to see a more consistent delivery to the users of those games in the future. That's what I think, because you're not going to see everything overnight. I think so many people with cloud gaming and Stadia, they want overnight. I know there's no downloads, no installs and patches and updates and stuff like that, but overnight, everything is not realistic. So, but I understand what Makers is saying, because some of those games are not there. But I searched certain games on GeForce Now, they weren't there. Certain games on Luna, they're not there. So it's not just a Stadia specific thing, though. I just wanted to throw that out there before we move.
You got to make decisions. Now, if you look at here, let's do this. We just showed you, Maker. This is a great discussion, and we could do a whole
show on this. Makers knows what's up. He knows the deal.
Here's the thing, Makers. Again, we just told you. I want you to look at something. We just told you that Stadia's goal is to bring you the top games that that are being played and being streamed. They're trying to connect the streaming world with the regular gaming world. Now, yes, the top multiplayer games aren't there because they just don't have the user base right now. But if you look at, so Biomutant is 23rd. And that is a game to where I think when they looked at that game, they said, what games do we need to get to this platform ASAP? And we need to get day and date. And I think if you look at, there's decisions that got to be made. You can't just buy everything. Again, you got a budget. So it probably came down to, do we get Resident Evil day and date? And do we get Outriders day and date? Or do we not get Outriders and get Biomutant? You get Outriders. I mean, if you're looking at the landscape, you get Outriders. Now, Biomutant just came out, and it's only at 23. Now, Resident Evil Villages, came out, a few weeks before that, and it's at 27, but they got NBA 2K21. They got FIFA. They're getting Rainbow Six Siege. You know what I'm saying? They got to work towards Call of Duty and all other stuff. So these are the games that I would look at that have long-lasting stability that I would look at them trying to get. Not these games that are great discussion pieces on a podcast. Like Biomutant is going to drop into oblivion soon here. Their ultimate goal is to get the games that people want to play and watch and bridge that gap. So it's a matter of them getting these games that you see at the top. Fortnite might be a pipe dream, but Apex Legends, the Call of Duties, you know what I'm saying? And all that other stuff, the Valorants, Grand Theft Autos, those are the games that you're going to see them trying to get. Now, they're only 18 months in, so it's hard to say, well, they're not doing a good job. They just closed SG&E in February to free up those resources. So it's too early to tell. What we're going to want to do is look into latter 2022, 2023, because it takes time to port over here. Look and see what games are they getting. If they're not getting any of these games over there, if they're not getting more of them, like they got Destiny, they got NBA 2K, they got FIFA, you know what I'm saying? If they're not getting more of these games over there, then you can sit there and say, okay, well, they're doing a poor job. But they just closed down SG&E to increase that effort. So I think that's a little bit premature. I get what you're saying, but that's a little bit premature. And Biomutant right now, I think Biomutant has a bubble to it. We already see, like, look, if you look at Mass Effect, it's 34. You know what I'm saying? It's 34. So, and it just came out. Normally, the newer games, they should be in the top 10, top 20. It just came out, and it's 34. Not a lot of people are streaming and watching that. They are focusing on the big ticket games that a lot of people stream and a lot of people watch. So that's what I would look out for. I would measure their success over the next few years based upon how many of these top 20, 30 games they get on the platform. Then we can have that conversation. It's just too premature right now. But I see where you're coming from. It's just too premature. With that being said, all right, I got another question for you, my good brother. Let me see if I can get back to that article. Okay. So we already talked about them and GFN. And I'm not saying, I personally feel it's better than GFN for my user case, but I'm not saying it's better than GFN. GFN is on a different user track, as Storm said. GFN is there, so in case cloud gaming does get more popular than dedicated device gaming, NVIDIA's already invested in that area, and they can just make the switch, and it won't hurt their business. That's why they're there. It's kind of like the whole Blockbuster Netflix thing. For those of you that aren't old enough to remember, Blockbuster and Netflix, they were video renting services. And Blockbuster didn't want to succumb to the fact that what Netflix was doing was going to be the future of video rental. And then they became the way of the dodo bird because of it. GFN, right. Or NVIDIA is saying, no, we're not going to be like Blockbuster. So what they're doing is different. If it better serves you, then great. It doesn't mean we can't lump these all together. So go ahead.
I was going to say something before you finish your thought, but I was going to say something before we move on to that next topic.
No, I was just going to say that's why we sat there and said, are they even in the same league? Stadia's trying to do something completely different, something we've always been arguing on this platform. Go ahead, Storm.
There you go. And we're hearing a lot of buzz, right, about rebranding, right? Mm-hmm. Now, you just read something about where Stadia is trying to go to. You just even the name Stadia, where it derived from and everything, man.
Exactly.
It came from the states, like it's plural for stadiums, right? Mm-hmm. And you just talked about that gateway of the gamers, like who are playing the games and those who love viewing the content. Man, being able to pull those gamers who are viewing the content into the game by clicking a link or whatever, man, that's something special, right? So as far as rebranding Stadia goes, that would be defeating a big purpose, in my opinion. Mm-hmm. There's no way in hell I'm changing the name Stadia to YouTube Gaming right now or anything. Yeah. I'm going to go ahead and keep that initial vision in mind. And yes, I'm going to let people know that, yes, we started out taking a lot of flack, unfairly, some of it, unfair criticism and all that stuff and mockery and all that, right? But we stuck to it. We doubled and tripled and quadrupled down on this thing that we believed in from the get-go. And now we're number one.
Yep. Yep. And I did entertain the thought, and again, who knows? But
I know you did.
I entertained the thought that, hey, maybe they do change the YouTube gaming. I mean, there's a lot of seamless milestones there between them and YouTube gaming. But
no, you connect YouTube gaming to Stadia. That's what you do.
But what Storm said makes a lot of sense. Again, that's why it's great. Even for me, I'm showing this to show y'all my mortality as it comes to this. I pivoted off this information. I'm so thankful my brother brought this to the attention so we can all know what to pivot from. Okay? All right. So, second question before we get to our final quotes, Storm. Who is in the league with Stadia? Who is trying to do what Stadia is doing, which is bridge the gap between the content creator and the gamer to make it one seamless event or instance? Who do you think is trying to do the same thing as Stadia?
Well, that's Luna.
Yeah, absolutely.
You got Amazon, you got Luna, you got Twitch. They have a platform, or Stadia is the only platform. When we look at the definition of a platform and we hear what Stadia says as far as why they came up with the platform and how they emphasize the word platform and stuff, man, they have their own storefront. This is a platform. It's going to be evolving. People might not believe that, though. I don't understand why people can't see the future of Stadia. Like I can. I could just see this ever evolving platform that's cloud native, that's able to do things that has not been seen before, and in the future, able to upgrade MM2K. Oh my gosh, bro. I don't know if you could pull that up for the people as far as like upgrading. I don't know which paragraph it is, and I can't see it real time. Hold on. I could pull it up as I talk. But look, as Stadia has they have huge selling points, man. Huge selling points, including in the midst of all this uncertainty and all of the nonsense that's going on out here. They have some huge selling points, especially for game developers, new developers included, man. Indie devs and all that. It's like it almost makes too much sense to me when it comes to gaming. Like, we know that Stadia is not going to back out of the cloud race. We know that's not going to happen, because the day they do that, the day they will become, Google and Stadia will become the most disappointing thing to me of all time, right? Why would they do that when you got Sony trying to strengthen and get to 1 billion gamers? We just covered that article on the Revolutionary Storm, Rev and I, and then Sonny from Sunny Cloud Gaming, he talked about it as well. You got Amazon out here trying to make the moves that they're making. You got xCloud out here definitely trying to upgrade their whole architecture and everything to compete better with Stadia. And I say that only because Stadia has been in that 4K space since launch. 4K 60. Yep. Stadia was designed for 4K 60 MM2K. Yep. And 8K. We keep talking about 8K. 8K is very much possible with Stadia. And they cover all this stuff in this article, man. It's mind-blowing for somebody like me that cares about the tech, who cares about the games, who cares about the moves that Stadia is making for the consumers. I care about it all. But the tech is what's drawing me to Stadia. That's what got me over here. It was the tech talk, and they break it down in a way that's believable and it makes sense to me. So as a consumer, yes, I'm focused on the games. I'm a gamer. I want the next gen experiences that's on consoles right now, the Series X and the PS5, as well as the PC. But I also want that cloud convenience that only Stadia can bring. If you get what I'm saying. The YouTube integration, I want all that stuff. Therefore, Stadia is number one. It makes the most sense for me. So, yeah, but they clarify all of this stuff, like a lot of different concerns, man. When they're talking about this technology and everything, man, I don't know. I can't see if you have it up right now because I can't see it real time.
Yeah, it's so hard to find. There's just you guys got to read the whole article. You just have to read the whole article.
So that's it. So we won't get too deep into it, but man, they were talking about like how, how Stadia is as easy to develop for as Xbox and PlayStation. Like, flat out said that. Phil Harrison says this. Like, or Matt said it. One of them, Matt Picard or Phil said it. It's no different from developing, even though it's Linux based and all that stuff, and they use the Vulkan API. It's it's not much difficult more difficult to develop for than Xbox or PlayStation.
Yep.
I can't even break it down, man, because it's just like it's crazy what people will go out and say. But then the facts are right here. The proof is right here of what we talk about each and every show. It's crazy. There's no need to really speculate when you can go back to the roots of it all. It's crazy.
Yep. I want to give a shout out to the chat. Y'all are killing it as usual. Shout out to Maker Chaos for your comment, man. I appreciate it, brother. Again, I had to put. I'm not saying you're sensitive. I just got to be careful because I go to respond to stuff and people think that I'm trying to burn down villages and throw babies out of moving cars and stuff like that. So I just, but I know you, brother. You've been here before. I know you're not sensitive, and I appreciate the discourse. So thank you very much for your comments. But I want to give a shout out to the chat as well. We got the homie Tommy Rocks. Tommy in the house. Tommy Rocks 81. He's become a prescription member. Thank you so much, good friends. And you get to hang out with us when we do the after hour show today. Who else we got up in the house? We got this fool. No, we got my good brother Aminor in the house with the $20 sticker that says epic fail. And we got the good brother JV Reed with the $5 sticker, the ha ha ha. Yeah, I appreciate all of y'all. So with that being said, Storm, I'd like to go to one of our final quotes. And this is Stadia. Now, this speaks a lot to what you were just referring to. Stadia's purpose to external devs. Again, all this information is here. We're going to provide the link once the comments go up. Stadia's purpose to the external devs. From Phil Harrison as well. Quote, I will let our partners tell their stories when they're ready to tell their stories. But it's incredibly exciting to meet a developer for the first time when you present Stadia to the absolute greatest game creators on the planet. And you share the vision of Stadia, or Yeti, as we used to call it. I guess that was the code name. And the reaction from the developer is, this is exactly what I was hoping you were doing. This is exactly the vision we have for our next game. This idea of elastic compute, being able to make multiplayer, or take multiplayer, to the next level, is the idea of blurring watching and playing into one experience. Again, beating away at the simple notion of merely a console in the sky. This is about an experience that merges, that blurs watching and playing. With that being said, my good brother Project Storm.
Yeah.
How big do third-party development sound, or how big is third-party development sounding to the success of Stadia?
I'll say this right here. Now, hopefully you all will think about this real quick, right? Why, if I'm Stadia, why do I care about it? All right, let me say this nicely as I can for people that really love SG&E like I do. Yeah. I love SG&E. I wanted it. I did. I wanted to see what the games were going to look like running on Stadia and all that exclusively. Mm-hmm. But why worry about a handful of exclusive games when you can make your platform industry exclusive?
Exactly.
In what it is as a whole, y'all.
Exactly.
Like, think about it. Stadia is its own exclusive thing. All of the technology that Stadia and Google has developed for over 20 plus years now is going to be powering this thing, y'all. Mm-hmm. So listen. So if you get your next GTA, your GTA 6, your Call of Duty, whatever, your new Battlefield and all that stuff, Battlefield 7 or whatever the case is, imagine a platform that's giving you exclusive features like only Stadia can. Yep. Now, you got your game. Play it on Xbox, play it on consoles. You can play it on PC, or you can play it with exclusive features on Stadia.
Yep.
Now, again, you're thinking about a handful of exclusive games that could come out every year? Or you're thinking about hundreds of games that could come out and utilize some of these features if everything shakes out the way that we think it can, based on what Stadia and Google has been telling us. I don't know. I'm thinking beyond what's traditional. That's all, I'm just thinking about all of the things that's not possible anywhere else, man. And I know people are like, we haven't seen it yet. We haven't seen it yet. But we don't see things early in console life cycles either. We don't see things when GPUs first launch and CPUs first drop on PC. Sometimes there's driver support that needs to happen and all that stuff, y'all. There's years. Sometimes you have to wait a couple years to see that blockbuster Horizon Forbidden West. Now, luckily, PlayStation gamers are not going to have to wait that long based on the trailer that we saw for that. But man, is that rare? Is that going to be a rare occurrence? You know what I'm saying? That's Sony. You're talking about Sony right now. That's what they do, though. They drop those. But you get what I'm saying, MM? You get where I'm coming from? Like, we're giving you an exclusive feature set, is what I'm trying to say, where you can only get the game experiences that you're going to see in the future only on Stadia, man. Like, you can't get this on GeForce Now or Luna or Shadow or anything else or xCloud. PS Now. You just can't do it. We told you all that we hit the ground running at 4K 60. Name me another cloud service that hit the ground running at 4K 60, up to 4K 60, y'all. No, and because Microsoft and Amazon and all of these other these companies, they don't have this technology. That's why MM just said the Stadia they're going to continue to be at the forefront. I mean, if you look at it, everything aligns. All ducks line up properly, y'all. Like Stadia came out doing that because they can. But they keep telling us, Phil and Maz Picard kept saying even in this interview, that they can tweak and make Stadia better so quickly that you don't even have to worry about a generation, y'all. You don't have to worry about a console generation, a cycle anymore. You don't have to worry about that anymore because now you have something that they could turn up in a year, every year, if they want to. They could tweak it every year to make it next gen if they want to. That's crazy, y'all. That's crazy. And that's why the enthusiasts are so high on Stadia, like myself. I care about that kind of stuff. But when you see games like Battlefield 7 or Far Cry 7 or whatever the case is, whatever game you could think of, when you see those games running with that type of capability and that kind of power behind it and technology and stuff, man, it's just gonna be mind blowing. Now we'll see if I'm right. I'm a believer though. I believe in the platform. I believe in the tech. I believe the majority of what they're saying are coming from Stadia because they back it up by proof. They give you examples like WebRTC and BBR and other things that you probably never even heard of. That's the stuff I'm looking into, y'all. And it's becoming a clearer picture for me. I just don't want to turn this into a tech show. You know what I'm saying? Because not all of you care about the tech. Not all of you care about that. But yo, it will blow your mind, y'all. It will blow your mind, the stuff that I'm finding out. So I don't know, but MM2K, I will say this though. I know people care about ray tracing coming to consoles. I know they get hype about 60 FPS and 120 FPS and FPS boost and the fast SSD of the PlayStation. They get excited for that stuff, man. That's a part of the conversation. All I'm saying is keep in mind that this is it could be the part of the cloud conversation as well. Like all that stuff could be right here. We as Stadians can talk about that stuff as well. But the information I'm reading is mind blowing. Whereas the consoles is pretty special, it's dope and everything, but it's not mind blowing. There's a difference there. That's all. But what were you gonna say?
Yeah, they're not moving the needle too much. They're giving you glorified versions of experiences that you've already had. I mean, shout out to and I got a PlayStation. Shout out to PlayStation 5 for the DualSense controller, but I have a controller to play great experiences. So I want to keep seeing you give me those nuanced great experiences. But here's the thing that, again, and I know this is going to take some time for it to digest, for it to sink in, for people to contrast or debate or whatever the case may be, but the facts are the facts. You can't debate what they're saying. You know what I'm saying? Like, if they're telling you what their goal is, that's their goal, and you got to go by that. Their goal is not to sell you a box, not really to just sell you a subscription service. Their goal is to merge the worlds of streaming content and playing content or watching content. And once they merge those worlds, they have different avenues. Stadia's avenue is a la carte purchases, DLCs, subscription services. Amazon Luna is DLCs and subscriptions or channels, right? But the not the antithesis, but the makeup of that, the secret sauce, and I'm stealing from my brother Storm, is, or do they have enough people that are engaged with games that they're seeing content creators play, or enough people engaged in those games and saying, hey, look, I want to play that game too, and I particularly want to play it with you. So it doesn't matter then if so-and-so box got so-and-so exclusive. They need that exclusive. We already told you what Yoshida said. You need that exclusive to buy that box. So it's a conduit on top of a conduit. The conduit here in this business model, you got to look at it as a separate business model. The conduit here in this business model is, are you an observer of content? And if you're an observer of content, these 50 billion watch hours and these 20 million people that are watching, if you're an observer of said content, can we get you to not just observe it, to play it?
There it is.
Use our platform to do that. It's completely different from Microsoft. That's why I asked Storm that question and he answered it perfectly. It's completely different from Microsoft. Microsoft is embedded. They put all their eggs in the basket pretty much of Game Pass. They put all their investment in making sure that you subscribe to Game Pass and they can get Game Pass up to 40, 50, 60, 70, 80 million. That's their claim to fame. That's totally different from what they're doing, from what Stadia and Luna is doing. Stadia and Luna don't need their own content in order for their business model to work. They're saying the content that you're already in love with, you can play it on our YouTube or you can play it on our Twitch. Microsoft don't have a Twitch or a YouTube anymore. They got rid of it. You're already engaged with our streaming platforms. Can we get you to go from simply a watcher to a participator on both ends? You see, or get you from being a participator and get, you know what I'm saying, and merge those two worlds. It's two totally different business models, and exclusives don't hold the weight in that business model as it does with the console or the Game Pass business. You need those exclusives to hold your subscription service honest. These other business models, again, with Stadia and Luna, I got to throw Luna in there because y'all going to think this is cap. What Stadia and Luna is saying is, look, the games that you already love watching, how about you give us a couple of greenbacks for you to play with the people that you love watching? Or even if you don't play with them. Let's just say I see somebody kicking ass in NBA 2K21 and I say I could do that too. I wish I could play, but I ain't got $500 for a console or whatever. Well, you could let me click on this link and I can play too.
Here it is.
That's the business model. We got to get out of this console mindset, okay? All right, with that being said, or even the subscription model mindset, we got to get out of there. The final quote, Storm, and damn, this did take over the whole show. But the final quote, man, you wasn't lying, brother. Next time you say, hey, look, we need 2 hours, I'm going to say, okay, Storm, you're right. The last quote. Now, this was a question from Richard Ledbetter that he asked Phil Harrison. And to me, this was like, woo! Like, I was like, how did I forget about this? The question that he asked Phil Harrison is, quote, do you think with local gaming and the traditional console model, is this the beginning of the end? I want you guys to listen to this answer because this answer is so relevant to a lot of the misinformation and the hoopla that y'all hear. Shout out to my brother King Thrash. I'm calling him out. He might pop up in the chat. King Thrash was like, oh no, hell no, MM2K, no. I gotta battle Stadia because Stadia said that you don't need a console. I want y'all to listen to this answer. March 21st, 2019, damn it. Quote, this is from Phil Spencer. The answer, again, the question is, do you think with local gaming and the traditional console model, is this the beginning of the end? From Phil Harrison, quote, it's not for me to say. I mean, I think there is a new way to develop games, a new way to discover games, and a new way to enjoy games because of Stadia. We have significant aspirations for the future and we want to get to a very substantial scale. It's not going to happen overnight. And we are completely respectful of everything that has come before us in the industry that's got us to this point. We want the industry as a whole to be successful, and we want the whole industry to grow. So with that revelation storm, we get to my final questions. Does it sound like, even though we feel it's the future, we're not saying it's not going to be the future and it's not going to take over, but does it sound like Phil Harrison and Stadia is trying to eliminate the use of gaming hardware?
You know what it sounds like to me? I've been saying it. I've said it hundreds of times. There's enough of this gaming pie for all of us to have a slice.
Yes.
That's it. That's all to it. I mean, they understand that there's space in the cloud. The cloud has infinite space. That's just something that Project Storm just said. The cloud has infinite space. You know what I mean? Just think about space in itself. There's infinite space out there, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's the cloud to me. Everybody that comes over the cloud, if you had the right infrastructure, the right setup or whatever, you deliver your games. It's gonna be about delivery. You know what I'm saying? You talk about smart delivery on Xbox. Shout out to Xbox, man. Smart delivery and all that stuff. We're talking about cloud delivery now. Like, to be able to give you gaming, it's still gaming, right? Root word, double underline, whatever you want to do with that, right? Gaming, y'all. It's still gaming. It's just a different way to game. It might turn it to be a better way to game. So that's what I think. And it just it gets me thinking, man. You know how I am when I start thinking or whatever, right? I'm like, how can people not see this, man? How can people really not see this? Are we blinded by the brand loyalty so much so that we can't even see the evolutionary process of gaming, like the evolution of gaming in itself, man? Like, yep. Can we not even make way for that? I mean, are we going to close the door on gaming to evolve? And even if you don't want cloud, there's still console gaming. There's still going to be PC gaming. Now, it would be up to your favorite brands to decide, hey, that's enough. We're going to go cloud. We're all in for the cloud. But if that happens, then it's kind of like, I don't know, man, because I don't like to piss people off, but I really have to think about what I say, because I don't really want to rub people the wrong way. But if it does get to that point where cloud native is the way to go, Stadia and xCloud and Luna and PlayStation Now and GeForce Now and Shadow and others would have paved the way for that to happen.
Absolutely.
Developers see it. They just want their games to be successful. They don't care if it's on the cloud. Really, people are talking about nobody is in their right mind is going to develop for Stadia. Why wouldn't they develop for Stadia when Stadia is potentially when they're going to be able to get their game out there in the hands of more people? Exactly. You just have to put a great game out. That's all you have to focus on, is putting a memorable experience out there for gamers. That's it. You know what I'm saying? And of course, the platform is going to grow with the YouTube integration and all that stuff. For everybody that's wondering, where are all those people going to come from? Well, they haven't hit the switch yet, people. They haven't. They're still lining things up. Yeah. They're telling us right now, even in an article like this, they're telling us that they're lining it all up for us. I don't know what else to say when it comes to that.
Well, people, again, I even see it in the chat. God bless them. But let me read these super chats real quick. Shout out to Aminor with the $5 super chat. He says, enjoying this community and you guys for this channel. Keep it up. Appreciate you, good brother, as always. We got Tommy Rocks with the 50 knock. He said, that's going to be on Stadia's strengths. Massive multiplayer that consoles or PC can't do. Exactly. So that's what I was saying, MM. That's really, people might hear that and might go out the other ear, right? But think about it. If they're telling us about this technology and out of nowhere it hits, imagine when it finally hits, when it hits the industry, the industry would be wise to pay attention. And the people that's behind the scenes, like Microsoft, know what's up. That's why they hurried up. They hurried up and got that announcement out there about upgrading the Series X. Upgrading xCloud to the Series X server blades and stuff, right? They hurried up and got it out there. Luna reminded people from the get-go that we're up. 4K is coming. And every game that you play, you go into the settings, 4K is coming soon. All this stuff. They know what's up, man. They know what they have to do. They know that Stadia is, right now, they're in the lead. They have the torch. Now, they might not have the numbers right now, but it shouldn't have the numbers if it hasn't been out that long to collect those numbers or whatever, MM. I don't
I mean, that's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying right now. You know me, I'm in deep thought, man. I'm reading the chat and I'm listening or whatever. I'm listening to you and I'm thinking and I'm imagining where Stadia is gonna go and all that stuff, and that's where I am right now. So go ahead. You can go ahead.
Yeah, I'm trying to understand again the focus on exclusives here in the chat. And I gotta call out my brother KB on Bluetooth. Shout out to KB. KB's been missing. He's the prodigal son of the Stadia Dosage channel. He was around for a while, then he disappeared, and then he just showed up in my chat one day. shout out to KB, right? So KB is stuck on exclusives, and I've been trying to have these conversations with my brother. Like, brother, you're not pivoting from equal playing fields. Like, you're talking exclusives. If you're setting the litmus to being number one, then right now, if you're or rather, let me put it this way: if you're setting the litmus to being number one to console gamers, then yes, you need exclusives. But if you're setting the litmus of what's going to make you money and what's going to make you successful,
Right.
Microsoft just showed you don't need exclusives. KB, I'm going to have to hit you with the baby powder live on air with this one. Because whether we got to wake you up, I'm not sure about the slumber. In the year that PlayStation broke its own records in 24 years, it broke its records when it came out with God of War and Spider-Man. They made $16 billion. That was a record for them. Microsoft in the same year was some of the lowest scores for exclusive titles, being ridiculed the most. They made $10 billion. It was one of Xbox's most successful years as far as being out of the red. If you fast forward to now, to 2021, fiscal year 2020 ending in 2021, that same $16 billion that was a record breaker for Sony, Microsoft was just shy of that, $1 billion, and they released no exclusives with this console. My brother, even in the console world, exclusives will get you at the top, but if you're making 15 and 16 and $10 billion, I think Microsoft is all right. So KB, if you're talking about bargaining chips and bragging rights, I get you. But you know who doesn't get you? Google. They're not paying attention to a damn thing you're saying because they're just trying to make sure that the platform is sustainable. They ain't got to be number one to be sustainable. Coca-Cola destroys PepsiCo globally. Does that mean that PepsiCo ain't making no money? So we got to get out of this mind state of this fanboy console war mind state. That if we don't have better exclusives than PlayStation, then you're not successful. Microsoft is bucking that narrative right now, and I don't like Microsoft. Y'all know that. But in a year where their exclusives were critically laughed at, in a year that they had the audacity to launch a console with no exclusive content really, they made $10 billion and $15 billion. That argument is dead. Stop it. But
I want to add again that you don't have to worry about this is non-traditional movement happening.
Thank you.
Like you don't have to worry about an attach rate, how many controllers with your console, how many games came in the box with your console and sold and all that stuff. You don't have to worry about it any longer, man, because those games that we're talking about, those consoles become links. They become clickable links, y'all, where you click this link and you could jump in the same game I'm playing right now. How many people? Millions, not hundreds, millions that don't even need a console. Billions of people can jump in and experience the same damn game that you experience when you pay that $500 for your console, man. or that 1,500 to 2,000, 3,000, all the way up to 10,000 if you got that money like that for your PC. Like they don't have to worry about that anymore, KB and others, y'all. Just I mean, like really sit and think on it though. Like let's stop having fun for a minute, right? And really sit there and think. Like these mugs in 2021 are out here letting us play games by clicking on a damn link. I mean, for real, I want y'all to really, MM, let me get like 3 seconds of silence.
Go ahead,
man.
brother. Mm-hmm.
Like, yo, this right here, it is the future of gaming, y'all.
Mm-hmm.
It is the future of gaming. It's already cloud native because you can't do that on your console that you paid the $500 for. What we can do, because I have one. I have the Series X, right? What I can do is keep on waiting for that damn Halo Infinite to drop. Now, hold on. That's what I can do. You know what I mean? What I can do is wait for that God of War in 2022. I know it's coming. So we're all waiting. If we're talking about the waiting game and console exclusives and all that, I mean, exclusivity and all that stuff, y'all, like, it's really out the window when Call of Duty is out here killing every exclusive known to man. Name me an exclusive that sold more than Call of Duty. I mean, I'm
sorry. I was just.
Hold on.
Go ahead, brother.
No, I'm just saying, I'm gonna wait though. Name an exclusive that gets close to Call of Duty sales. And that's just Call of Duty. I can go down. I just put it up there just because you all are familiar with Call of Duty, right? That's what I'm talking about. So if Stadia gets a Call of Duty, if they can, and they will eventually, right? If they bring in a Rainbow Six Siege, and all of a sudden there's millions of players playing concurrently or whatever, right? That right there is the success. That's when you start to see the success of Stadia already. Because at that point, people bought into the brand and the idea of what Stadia was always destined to be. That's how I feel about it. And man, what were you gonna say, man?
No, I was responding to my good brother KB. He don't want to let it go. You gotta let it go. You gotta get you some Teddy Pendergrass, brother. You gotta some another love TKO. You gotta let it go. The argument is dead. Microsoft just proved that twice. Their exclusives were laughed at. They made $10 billion that year.
That's facts.
They launched a console with no exclusives.
That is facts. I have it right here, sitting here collecting dust. I played Stadia more than that.
$15 billion this year. You gotta let it go. I love my brother Porter Rock. I love my brother Jay Barry. I love all those people, the PlayStation heads. I love them. Those is my brothers. I'm chopping up with them all the time. But you two stuck to the rhetoric. Let it go. Until you can explain to me how Microsoft is now making more money than they ever did with worse exclusives, you gotta let it go. Gotta let it go, brother. I love you, but you gotta let it go. He says it proves nothing. Yeah, man, he on that milk of the baby. For those of y'all that he won't let it go. He said, "I'd rather leave this world before I let it go." He's on that milk of the baby. For those of y'all that watch Game of Thrones, my brother Kebu Ubuntu, do a wellness check on him because that's crazy. Anyway, but shout out to KB. You know we love you, good brother. Storm.
What up?
My final question for you, and we're gonna try to squeeze in what we can, and the rest of this is gonna have to go to the after show. Just the final question. How wrong have we been looking at this? I think we've been kind of answering this as we've been answering questions in the chat, but how wrong have we been looking at Stadia? Like, can you help break it down why we've been looking at it so wrong?
Well, because we still have a lot of that traditionalist mindset. You know what I'm saying? Because we have never witnessed or experienced anything like that. That's why when you first touch Stadia, it blows your mind. Now, I know half the chat can confirm that right there. The first time you touch Stadia, you're like, damn, this really works. All right, that's your initial thought. Then it goes into, damn, Destiny 2 and Division is running like this on Stadia. Resident Evil, Cyberpunk, or whatever game you jumped on when you came over here on Stadia, right? MM2K. You realize, damn, this works. But then you realize that, yo, the consoles, PlayStation, I'm used to that. They're out here and they're dropping Horizon Forbidden West trailers, and Xbox is out here and they're talking about Halo is coming, Infinite is coming and all that. Game Pass is out here, and that's what you're hearing all the time. So you get roped right back into the traditionalist mindset, man. Like, so that's why we got our judgment clouded a little bit. And then we had the facts in front of us. We talk facts all the time, right? We cover the facts, we drop the facts, we show the facts, but we get deterred sometime, man. Like we get, sidetracked because we are still in a gaming world. This is still an industry as a whole, man, that has all games collectively in this one industry. So, oh hell yeah, we talk about other games. We have multiple shows here at PNTS Network. So that's why we get sidetracked. And then when we lose sight of what we already know, what we've already told the people, we lose sight of, man. And it's all because we think this right here, in order to be relevant, you have to know what's going on all sides of the fence, man. That's Xbox, PlayStation, Nintendo. So because we put so much emphasis into that, we forget what Stadia's out here telling us. We forget the articles that we read about, that we've already told the chat about. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes. That's why, MM, because to us, it's still like, pinch me so I can wake up. Am I really playing games with no downloads, no updates like this at up to 4K 60 FPS, yo? I have to throw that in there because millions of people care about that kind of stuff, y'all. I hate to say it. Just go watch YouTube videos, 4K, 8K, and all that. They're out there in the millions views. The views are crazy on those, right? So they care about it. There's a market segment for that. But that's why, MM. We have to talk about what's current right now in order for people to understand, for us to process what Stadia is giving us right now. Again, it's so mind blowing. I don't even know how I'm able to talk because my mind was blown from last night when I went back and captured all of this goodness in this article again, man. Like, I'm surprised I'm able to talk today. Like, I see where it's headed, man. For you all that don't, if you just want to sit there and deny, or if you want to sit there and hate, that's on you. But for the people that's jumping in and saying, damn, this Stadia is great. What the hell was everybody talking about on YouTube? The big YouTubers talking about Stadia was a lagging mess. Stadia didn't work too well. Stadia didn't work well at all when I was in my car in the parking lot stealing Wi-Fi and all that. And see, we still highlight stuff from Eurogamer and all that, even though we don't agree with everything they say, y'all. If it's going to inform and educate you all, it doesn't matter where it's coming from. You know what I'm saying? We're going to put it out there. The bottom line is, though, MM, that's what happens to us. That's what happens.
Yeah, we're going to have to do a wellness check on KB. KB on it. I'm going to call Porter Rock. Now, I know Porter Rock personally. I love my brother Porter Rock. AP, I'm going to have to rap to you to what you done did to my brother KB. My brother said that Xbox, they need the cash because Xbox is dying. Jesus Christ. Hot Jiminy Crickets. No. Xbox, look, man, this is not the Xbox show. But again, I want people to know the truth. Satya Nadella is all about the cloud. He said, if you want to be part of Microsoft, if you don't want me to dissolve this, you got to figure out how to market gaming in the cloud. Everything is part of the cloud with Microsoft. Everything. This is their way of doing that. In order for them to do that, they have to have content and a subscription service like a Netflix, as you appropriately pointed out to make that subscription service honest. I've been saying that since 2017. Check my old content. And KB, you were around for my old content. You probably stole that from me. I'll see you in People's Court. But no, that they keep the subscription service honest, they have to put exclusive content in there. That has nothing to do with the viability of Xbox right now. Xbox tomorrow can say, you know what? Game Pass is not going, it's going the way of the dodo bird. We don't want it anymore. And they can get rid of Game Pass and stop all the investments and get rid of those 23 studios. The simple fact that they are putting their games on PC, you know what I'm saying? They got to play anywhere and all the other initiatives, Xbox Live Gold and all the other stuff that they're doing, will not get them as much money as PlayStation, but it will get them enough money to survive. This is so, all this Game Pass stuff in the 23 studios, this is their version of reaching the 1 billion gamers. Amazon and Google's version of reaching the 1 billion gamers is becoming a stopgap or closing the stopgap between streamers and viewers. They don't need Game Pass to make the money that they're making. As we already saw from those court documents, Game Pass is not profitable. They're making their money off of, first and foremost, Minecraft, which they own, regardless of Game Pass or not. The fact that they got Havoc Engine, the fact that they got Fortnite on there. Fortnite is making money for everybody that got the damn game. DLC, stuff like that, and all the other gaming, and then the fact that they put their games on PC. Sea of Thieves, even though people laugh at it, haha, it's garbage, it's making a hell of fat money on Steam. It's always in the top charts. So their other business models will make them money and will sustain Xbox if they lean on those alone. What Xbox is trying to do is they're trying to dominate the game and get to 1 billion gamers. And their way is through Game Pass. That's why they need the 23 studios. They don't need the 23 studios to survive.
Right.
Now, KB, you've been around long enough. That's why I'm asking for a wellness check. Give us your address in the chat. No, I love you, KB. I'm going to stop. I'm done with you, brother. I love you, though.
You know, that was an excellent point, man. Excellent point.
And I don't even like Xbox Storm. I don't like them. You know I don't like them, but that's the truth.
I know.
You got to give credit where credit is due. So,
But these companies know also, that the cloud is going to help them get there easily, man. Like more, like better than selling consoles, especially during the pandemic, as we just learned, y'all. How easy would it have been for Xbox to say, click that link right now? Click that link, y'all. We got technology,
Absolutely.
4K 60 with ray tracing right now. Click that link.
Yep.
Think about that. What that could have done for Xbox and their game sales and everything. You know what I mean? And their bottom line on top of that, because they're selling games on the Xbox platform.
Exactly.
Like, this is the new way of thinking, man. I have to separate myself from the traditionalist mindset, man.
Absolutely.
I'm moving on. After the day, I'm moving on. Don't catch me on that console. Don't catch me on that console. I'm already thinking about selling the Series X right now. I'll let y'all know when it goes live and where I'm going to put it at. I will let y'all know. You know what I'm saying? I might even tell y'all hit me up or something out in the DM. I don't know. But check this out. I will say that, man, my mindset is shifting to the point where, damn, it's PC and Stadia right now for me, real heavily. Now, xCloud, when they bump up, I will be the first to test it since there's only a handful of people that want to drop xCloud content right now. I'll be one of the first to thoroughly test it all day. Me and Dark at 19, and we might collab or something. You know what I'm saying? Me and Doc, we'll hit Doc up in a DM or something, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Hey, I can't wait for the day, man. Because I want to see if we're right, though. I just told the people that I think that when 4K drops on Xbox, on xCloud or whatever with this, that Microsoft are going to have some lumps. They're going to have some roadblocks that they have to smooth out to get to where Stadia is going to be at 4K. And then Stadia is going to be sitting there saying, man, y'all worried about 4K and this time when we're moving on to 8K, man. Y'all got that. Go ahead. We're moving to 8K 120, man.
Yeah.
So I don't know. We'll see how it shakes out, though, in the near future, y'all. But for all of you that stayed with us today, you're going to be witnesses of it. We'll see.
Yeah. I want to say again, and I want to just echo what Storm just said. You got to look at this differently. The measure of success, like I'll put it back up on the screen if I still have it. The measure of success is not saying looking at Microsoft or PlayStation. Even though they're going to use cloud is just a catalyst of how they're going to allow people to access their games. You got to look at the appropriate business model. Stadia doesn't have the same business model as GFN. It doesn't have the same business model as Microsoft. Doesn't have the same business model of PlayStation. It has somewhat of a similar business model or goal of Luna. Luna has channels, not really big on a la carte purchases at the moment. It's trying to mimic Prime, the success of Prime. Stadia is doing something different. What you got to look at over the next few years is look at all of these top games that you see up here that are the top streamed games. And then you got to look at, does Stadia have them? And how many people are playing them on Stadia? Along with, interacting with their favorite content creator, or the viewers, rather. Are the viewers of these content creators, are they watching so-and-so play Call of Duty Modern Warfare, and are they saying, yep, I want to get the version that's on Stadia, and I'm playing it on Stadia, clicking on this link? You got to look at that metadata or whatever's available, because this is all being done through links and stuff like that. that'll gauge the success. But looking at what they're doing right now and comparing it to consoles and Microsoft and PlayStation, it's a fallacy. Don't step on that trap. Okay. One last thing that I want to just throw in there just for a couple minutes, Storm, because we got it in the title, is the new support that Stadia is getting. Let me see if I can find it. I had it. Oh, where the hell? Oh, here it goes, right here.
We got to talk about that. And man, Dan, we're gonna definitely have to talk about the crossplay and all that stuff, man. Shoo.
Yeah.
Like we could do that in the after show if you want to.
Yeah, we could. Yep. Oh crap. Dang, I'm not signed in here. But here is a Mike Riccio. He's a director, developer at platform engineering at Google Stadia. He said, "Hey, look, he got a new job. There's a new job that he's trying to get." Hold on. There's a new job that he's trying to get filled, and here goes the description of the job. The job is engineering manager at Stadia Developer and Tools. Is it going to show me more? All right. So here goes some key stuff here that I want to get your thoughts on real quick, Storm. They talk about the position where the position is Stadia Developers Tools team is a multi-location, multidisciplinary team working together closely to deliver a development platform that meets today's needs of game development studios, AAA through indie. Our team in particular, now this will tickle your fancy. Our team in particular is focused on building Stadia's development, profiling, GPU, CPU, and system level debugging and testing tools. It further reads, Google is proud to be an equal opportunity workplace. Oh, no. I'm sorry. That's wrong. Stadia is Google's premier video game platform designed for everyone. We are working on custom built hardware and rapidly evolving open source technology to deliver a seamless, again, from the 2019 article, a seamless gaming experience across multiple devices. Stadia provides players new ways to discover, engage, and connect with content. With no download required thanks to our cutting-edge data centers, our team members are building tools that will push game development to new levels. Storm, this is a manager for a team in Munich that's doing a variety of things. Before we wrap up, how does this tie into everything that we covered today?
So what is this telling us, people, man? Project Storm, first of all, I hope it's telling y'all that I'm not crazy. You know what I'm saying? I could see a little bit of the future, y'all. I might get some things wrong, like with the AMD tweet the other day, because I can't edit. I really wanted to say that the smartphones was getting ray tracing, so damn well Stadia will eventually. You know what I mean? Yeah. That's what I wanted to say, but the tweet didn't come out right. But shout out to everybody that put a like on that and understood where I was coming from with the AMD Fidelity FX super resolution or whatever it's called, FSR. Technologies like that, MM, not even going into this right here, what you're talking about right now. It sounds like to me that this person knows that Stadia is doing some big things, man. Like it or this posting or whatever the case is, man.
Yeah.
Like it sounds like that's where they're headed right now. They're gonna be doubling down on the performance side of Stadia and trying to get these developers and everything to come over to the Stadia platform. Y'all, it's all lined up for me. What am I doing here? This might be my last day, man. I might put in my letter of resignation. I'm no longer needed, bro. I'm no longer needed because damn, what can I add to what we already have out here?
I know,
bro?
yeah. Like
it's
might have to
already
shut down the whole channel.
Yep. So how come nobody, the big YouTubers, not talking about all this greatness that you just read? There's postings all over the place. You and Clive and everybody's breaking things down, and Stadia's telling us what they're gonna. They're telling us what they're gonna be doing. They telling us what they have built already. They told us how many years. They even told us their resume. We got 20 years, more than 20 years doing this stuff right here. And what they're really doing is being like they're boastful about it. Because they're like, I wish Amazon, I wish Amazon would come up here talking about they could do what we're doing technology-wise. They can't. Nobody can do it. xCloud, none of it can do it. GeForce Now, they can't do it right now. People, that's a fact. If they could, you don't think that they would? So we know the tech thing, that's a check. Nobody does it better than Stadia when it comes to the tech. Stop all that nonsense. Stop all that nonsense. Nobody, GeForce Now with the ray tracing, they can't do it up to 4K. who cares?
Yeah.
That's how I feel about it.
I got
right?
you. I got
Because
you.
1080p, we've been doing that since, man, how long we been doing 1080p gaming, bro?
Oh my
I mean,
gosh.
so listen, man. So this right here is telling you that Stadia is seriously committed. MM2K is telling you that they are not playing around. Your source, our source, is not playing around.
Absolutely.
I mean, they know what's going down. It's just so many things getting ready to line up. Now, I told y'all, we said it's going to be a hot summer. Me and MM2K. We just told y'all
Yes.
that on SML podcast last week or whatever, or the week before last. We told y'all. I'm so excited about it, man. Hey, you want a Series X? Do you want a
Don't do
Series X,
it.
bro?
Don't do it yet,
Hey,
brother.
I'll do
Don't
a
do
swap.
it.
No, what I'm saying is, if you give me the PS5, I'll
Oh
give you the
no,
Series
hell
X.
no.
Keep it as long as you want. I'll keep the PS5 as long as I want, just to
No.
sample it, so I can say that I played it. But after that, I'm gonna send you your Series X
I
back, and
got
you
you.
can keep the. I mean, I'm gonna send you that
The
PS5 back, and you can
PS5
keep
back,
the
and you
Series
said I
X
can keep this.
and the PS5, bro. I'm moving on, man.
Yeah, I got you.
This
brother.
all gets me excited right here.
Oh
Custom, I
man.
mean, GPU, CPU. You start talking like that, and you don't think Stadia is about to upgrade. AMD comes out here on their stage and tells you that they're going to be putting this new technology on older hardware, and then we look at the fact that Stadia is running on what we think is a Vega type architecture or whatever, right? But Stadia's up here telling us in this same article that 10.7 teraflops is nothing. That's just a starter to get y'all going. That's like putting training wheels on your bike and teaching you how to ride, y'all. That's just how we come into the game, MM2K. I want you to listen to this in chat. That's how Stadia comes in the party. Like, who wants some? You know what I'm saying? Where your girls at? We taking all your girls. You know what I mean? Like, that's how they're coming into this thing, man. Like, and who can mess with us? Like, so that's who I want to be hanging with. I want to hang with the cool crowd. And I don't care if there's only 12 of us right now. Like people like to jokingly say, there's only 12 of us. 12 people. Let me hang out with MM2K, some of the chat. Not everybody in the chat. I can't hang out with all y'all. MM2K, some of the chat, and others in this community, man, we're going to have a good time. But look, all jokes aside, y'all, this is what it's all about. It shows that promise is going to be fulfilled one day, man. Hopefully sooner rather than later. I can't wait for the next major announcement, man. I'm done talking for the day.
Yep, absolutely. So with that said, it was a hell of a show. This is another reason why y'all got to listen to my brother Storm, and I fall short of it too because he told me. He said, "Moss, we're gonna need 2 hours for this." I'm like, man, no. And I should have listened. This was over.
We didn't even break down everything that the article had that'll really make your eyes open. Like, oh wow, this is what Stadia's doing. Damn, I didn't know they were thinking this.
Yes.
There's still
this
some
article,
stuff in there. We got to drop the link.
So deep. Yeah, we're gonna drop the link. Matter of fact, I tell you what. How about we do this, Storm? I will drop the link in the after party, and then after we're done with the after party, I'll add it to the comments. If you want to be part of the after party, you got to do what my brother Tommy Rocks did. You got to be a prescription member, prescription or higher. You're part of the after party. But you got to, but again, this is all in an effort to pivot off of facts. So join us there. We're going to talk about, we got some more stuff to talk about. So much stuff that we couldn't get into here. But with that said, thank y'all so much for joining us. I tell you what, let me do this because I want to make it easier for those that are prescription members to go to the after party. So I got to do this. I got to go into the settings. Let me do this. Live direct, select, and yes, SSC 58. There we go, baby. Then, okay, so when I end the stream, it'll take y'all right over there. All right, so when I end the stream, it's going to take y'all right over there. Just give us like a 30 seconds to set up, and we'll go live. But with that said, Storm, can you let the good people know where they can find you at, good brother?
You can find me right here on YouTube. Project Storm is the channel. I always tell people just put in Project Storm 8K Stadia or something like that, and you'll find me real easily. And then also on Twitter, you can find me at the Nephophiliac. Both of these, I mean, it should be in the description. My Twitter handle should be in the description below. So check me out over there. Y'all hit the follow or whatever, because we're always talking something good at PNTS Network, and I'm affiliated with this. And there's so many shows, y'all, that you don't want to miss out on. Like, Yin meets Yang of gaming. Shout out to Snow Bunny
Absolutely.
for that one. Stadia Revolution, man. Me and him connect for the Revolutionary Storm every Sunday at 11 a.m. Yin meets Yang of gaming. That happens normally at 2 p.m. Eastern. All the times I'm giving you is Eastern time, people. So check us out there. Check me and MM2K out on SML podcast every Saturday at 11 a.m. Eastern time. Right.
Yep.
So there's so much going on, man. I'm forgetting shows and everything. We're making moves out here, MM. I'm just happy. I'm ready to play some more Stadia. That blue fire is fire. Blue fire.
Yep.
So with that being said, y'all, that's where you can find me.
And for those of you that are interested, because we got to go, I'm sorry, my brother's on time schedule. I'm on a time schedule. Shout out to Eli in the chat. If you want a teaser for the summer championships, definitely go to this summer. Let me see here if I can find it. You go to the Summer CC to get more information on that. But we did a little teaser at the beginning, so definitely check that out at the beginning of the show for that teaser. With that said, I want to thank everybody for coming out, man. Y'all really kicked ass today. Thank y'all so much. Thank y'all for hitting the like button. If you haven't, hit it, please. It goes so far to help out the platform. And until next time, y'all have a wonderful gaming day. Peace.
Catch y'all later. Get it in.